Yo, what's up, Thomas? We're sorry guys, we're about to get started here. Let me just get some last minute like. All right, so hopefully I'm crossing my fingers that Jay and Bori gets up in the house. If not, it's okay. We'll go ahead and continue on. But let me just make sure everything is working, guys. Now I don't have too long. Well, Jay's here actually, so that's good. How do I do this? We'll do that. Let's get Jay up in the mix, guys. See what's going on. Fix, this is not the time for eating. No. We can't eat right now, Tom. It's too late, bro. It is definitely too late to eat, man. Can't we do it now? Jump in here. Ready for this Borderlands. We gotta get it beaten. How does Bori know all these Pokemon? How is this even happening? My card gonna be okay? All right. First of all, we gotta get the webcam on. Holy mackerel, I don't even got my webcam ready. All right, I believe we got everything looking pretty good. Let me see if, you know what I need to do? You know what I really need to do? First of all, let's make sure this webcam is working. It is. Yeah, okay, Thomas. You know I'm playing Clash, bro. I always see you on. I know, right? We're all level 22 right now, guys. Hold on, I gotta fix this webcam. Give me a second. Okay, things are looking pretty good. All right, Jay. So right now we got me and you. We're gonna. Oh gosh. Hopefully everything's looking pretty good. What's going on, Hemi? How are you? Thanks for coming in. That one event made me rage. Jay, don't remind me, bro. I'm struggling on the event that we're on right now, guys. Okay, so right now we got me and J13. And so what we've been doing, guys, is we formed a squad. And we're all playing on the same level. Now, I don't think Bori's coming. We might have to just play with just us, Jay. I was really hoping they try to get this game B so I could wipe it out and clear out my hard drive, guys. Let me go ahead and message Bori on Discord real quick. I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna do a custom fan card. Let me open up my custom fan cards, guys. Give me a sec. Because I don't like what's going on right now with my graphics card. I'm hitting like 70 degrees Celsius, which I know is not danger zone. I know they're tested to hit or tested to run extremely hot, but I don't know. When I hit 70 and 80s, it gets me kind of worried. 70s I'm okay with. But once it starts hitting like 84, there's a problem. I think I'm going to open up my card because I think the warranty's about to, I don't know if the warranty's going to be expired soon anyway. This should be good. Yep, card's running better now. Look at that. I just dropped 12 degrees Celsius only because I'm running custom fan cards, which is the way I got to go. So I got the triple fan set up on my, that's the faceplate on my graphics card is a triple fans. I really wanted to go hydro cooling. I really should have bought it when I got it. I was doing some heavy reading, and I guess trying to install a cooling kit aftermarket is not as simple, I guess, or whatever. I don't know. People were saying it's kind of it's a lot harder to do, and sometimes it may not work right. I don't know. The rage is good. It makes your character go fast. True. Right. It's okay. It's okay, Thomas. I'm glad everybody's doing good, guys. I want to keep everybody updated, though. So what we're going to be doing is today, I believe, is the end of the month, right? Today's the 20th or 31st, 30th, 31st. What's today's? Let me check. Today's the 31st. Wow. So we got one more day. Tomorrow or maybe even today, we'll see. I'm going to probably open up the raffle. I would open it now, let you guys get your tickets in. However, if something drives me crazy and my bot breaks down or malfunctions in the middle of your tickets being in there, I don't want you guys to lose your tickets. So what we're probably going to do the next session, we're going to go ahead and get that going for you guys. So that way we're going to go ahead and get one of the lucky winners here on our channel, guys, to go ahead and get rewarded with that gift card. All right. So Jay, do we know what's going on with Bori? Jay, you went live with Borderlands. Nice, bro. I think I'm in your channel. Yeah, I'm in there. I just want to make sure. Did my game just crash? Why is this game running at 32-bit? I just realized that. Right. I'm gonna tell Bori to get on voice chat. Why is my game not on borderless window or something? Hold on. Window mode. Oh, I'm playing in full screen. Why? That's why I don't want to do that. There we go. Okay, the game is running now, and we're finally on the other monitor, which is perfect, guys. Okay. All right. Feels like I'm getting less FPS when I'm overclocking my fans. I guess I'm drawing more power. All right, so Bori's going to be joining us, guys. I forgot who was hosting the game. Was it Jay, me, Bori? I forgot who it was, or was it me? I don't remember. Let's make sure we got everything running up pretty here and efficient, guys. Bori's probably eating. What do you guys think he's eating? What do you guys think he's eating? Oh, boy. All right. First thing we need to do, guys, is
Can you hear me?
oh, yeah, I think, or wait, what the heck? What's wrong with my mic? Yeah, you hear me.
Yep, I hear you.
Shall we? Yo, let me up my volume. Why is my volume so low?
It was
Okay.
weird. It wasn't actually showing up that I was talking. Like, what the heck's going on with my mic?
Gotta love it, man.
Discord's so difficult to work with.
Yeah, actually, Discord sent me a message, I guess, in an email about doing a survey. And you want to know what I told them what they should add?
What was that?
Add more servers, man, for us to be able to join. 100 is not enough. Every time I tell people I'm in 100 servers, they look at me like, dude, how are you in so many servers? I'm like, first of all, I'm very community driven. Granted, I can't be as active in all the communities, but sometimes there's information I need. There are certain individuals I like to be in touch with or contact, and there's some communities that I do like to partake in. And I just feel like, with that being said, let's say Minecraft community or Call of Duty community and creative universe community, you know, things like that. Roleplay communities, gaming, not gaming, something else.
Yeah, I just joined the Call of Duty server, and I tell you, that thing is a joke, really, if you ask me.
The Call of Duty one?
Yeah, there's no support bugs. There's no
Well,
way to actually.
you know what? A lot of those AAA titles, though, you have to understand, most of that, they'd rather you go to their website and do a submit or a ticket. Like, a lot of times the Discord is more kind of like just letting you know what the updates are, let you get in touch with the other community members who are playing the same game, that are interested in the same game as you are. But I know what you mean. You have no way to get in contact with any of the staff. Like, they don't use Discord for that, like how we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, we love Discord, and honestly, Discord is by far the best method of, like,
Way to contact people, yeah.
yeah, like, I can literally go on my phone, look at my Discord, and be like, oh, Jay messaged me. Oh, they're doing this. Oh, this person went live. Oh, there's an update for this game. Oh, there's you know, there's always a reason for it. All right, where's Bori at? Bori go.
That's why I wish they would actually do that kind of better communication on their server, because the way I looked at it, when I walked in there or got in there, I was like, man, this thing is garbage.
Yeah. Well, Jay, I know. Are you still looking for a new CPU and a motherboard? Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do with mine yet, but my setup is great, but I need more. You know what I'm saying? I'm running multiple monitors. I'm running streaming, and I'm running OBS. I'm running games. I'm running this, that. I'm running all several programs at once. In terms of memory, I'm fine. In terms of graphics, I wish I had an RTX card, because I really want that Turing encoder, like the new NVIDIA encoders that are built in. But that's the only thing I would want. There's nothing else about the RTX that I care about. Ray tracing, okay, I can really care less. There's not that many games supporting ray tracing. However, good news is the new Xbox, they said that most of their games are gonna have ray tracing. Now, that's interesting to hear that, because it is a nice feature, but I think for PC gamers, they don't care for it, because let's be honest here, we want frame rate, right?
Yep.
Why I'd rather play a game at 150 hertz, 200 hertz, whatever, rather than dropping 80 frames because I have light that can bounce off walls better or something. You know what I'm saying? It does make the atmosphere look more realistic. It makes great for taking screenshots. But that's about it. Now, for multiplayer, forget it.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got to load that ray tracing. I tried ray tracing on Call of Duty, bro, and forget it. Now, I don't have an RTX card, so I'm not going to take that into consideration. Okay, so who we joining? We're joining Bori, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was the host last time. I want to make sure, but I think we're all, like, I loaded in just to test, and I'm where we left off, so that's great. But I don't want to, like, save it again, and, like, I don't want to get out of sync. I want to make sure we all stay in sync.
Yeah.
What the heck is voice chat in game? I don't even know what the voice chat button is.
Duty is pretty
I'll have to check it. I haven't gone about testing it. I know my cousin's been bugging the heck out of me. He's like, dude, get on some Call of Duty. I'm like, bro, this week has been very hectic for me. I've been very busy, and I'll get to the desk and I have to get back up for something. And it's like, honestly, dude, I've been going crazy. I've been wanting to stream. I just haven't had the time to sit and be like, yo, okay, I got 4 hours to play around. I literally sit down and go like, dang, I got an hour and a half. There's no point in going live. because I'm gonna be getting right back off.
Yep. Yeah, Call of Duty, since they did the update, I don't know what they did, but man, they broke the game.
Well, I watched a YouTuber and explained the new update, and it sounds phenomenal in terms of like, because this was a title update, right?
Yeah, it was a complete update, but they never did optimize it. That's what's bad. They added
Wow.
something, but they didn't optimize it very good. And I played 2 games, 2 matches, complete, and then I crashed 3 in a row.
Yeah, we will, Thomas. Don't worry. We're about to start now.
Until they fix that.
Wait, what's mouse and keyboard? What is the gameplay? No. Keyboard, mouse, keyboard, key bindings. Oh, there he is. I'm over here trying to find out push to talk. What's up, Bori? How was your trip, man?
Tiring.
I don't know, man. After the much prayers for Kobe Bryant, but no helicopter or planes for me for now. So I'm gonna. I do have some things I want to do possibly this year, next year. I do want to do Disney, bro. So I am saving up right now for my son. I really want to take him.
Taking me with you, right?
Yeah, bro. Get you a ticket.
Appreciation Day.
Hey, oh my, no, trust me. If I was making boom killing money, dude, I'd be like, yo, top 5 sales, go as a squad. Let's go. Let's do it. I got you guys' tickets. Has a streamer ever even done that before? Yo, them tickets ain't cheap, bro.
I know they.
Man. Like, I was looking because originally I was gonna go with 14 people, or no, not 14 people. I was gonna go with me, another group, and sort of another group, and it was gonna be like $14,000, bro. But that's for the whole week. I saw that price tag. I'm like, ugh. You know, granted, I'm not paying all that, but that's split. All of us splitting it is still a lot of money, bro. It's like cheaper to go with a smaller group than it is trying to go all in one.
You could buy a car for that.
$14,000. Go buy, yeah, you could buy a car for sure. My God. All right, Bori, you were the last host, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go ahead and keep the chatter. Let's get some progress. Let's get some. I tried to make my game look better. I was messing with my NVIDIA settings, so for me it looks perfect. I don't know how it looks on a stream. Probably no different.
Second, I'm setting up my stream.
Get it, bro. I'm in there right now. I need my points. You too, Jay.
My thought. First time I streamed it, I was like, oh, I got a follower tonight.
Ooh, see?
Fluffy 13-11361.
You know what I noticed? What a lot of people's been doing, and honestly, I can vouch for this. So anyway, make another account, right? Go live on it, and you know what's so weird is that it generates new traffic. I think what happens is that a lot of these like weird websites that you never heard of actually takes your video and it just puts your stuff there. Somehow, somewhere, somebody can find it, and bam, there goes another viewer or follower. It's pretty cool.
Okay, let's see. You gotta set up my keybind.
Very true, Tom. It's very true, bro. Yeah.
I don't even know how to play this game anymore. I forgot my keys and everything. So.
We'll figure out.
Dude, you ain't the only one. You are not the only one.
Oh, are you watching my stream right now?
I do see it. I have it on mute though. Oh no, wait, what the heck is this? Oh, you invited me on Steam. Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what? Why is my... I don't see it yet. Do you have the short delay going on?
Wow, I'm here like 3 times because I.
Oh my god, I love that I type Bori on Twitch and it pops both of our videos. See, this is why I put your guys' name in the title, so that way people can find you guys too.
See, I finally got my boom arm.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw the picture you posted, bro. Dude, you're gonna love that mic. Like, for USB, that's the best you're gonna get, bro.
The thing is, the way I got it set up is like right
Yo, you are my brother with the beard. You know my brother's growing his beard out? You know how weird it is to see my young brother with a beard?
up.
Look at that, bro. You're gonna have to get that little brush and like walk around like
For the whole month, I forgot to bring one, so I haven't really been brushing it.
oh.
So it's right now all tangled and it's annoying. All right, y'all ready?
Let's do it. Oh, I thought you were giving me some coquito in chat or something for a second. With that rank status. Speaking of coquito, I made some coquito for the first time not too long ago. Well, I'm not gonna. Ah, dang it! I just paused the video. Hold on, because I don't want to lag. You know what? I could just. It'd be easier on the phone. Give me a sec. Because the phone just runs off Wi-Fi. But you guys out here, and plus you'll get that.
Oh, why are you being stupid?
Look at J13, 2 viewers. Okay.
Don't start with me. There
JB lying to us. He got like a full community going on. He's holding back on us.
we go.
Oh my god, I'm gonna be so rusty at this game.
You know when you add it up. So. I got it right.
Okay, I got it now. Go ahead.
Whatever, I don't need ammo.
What the?
Man, I have
Oh man, bro. Woo! That's that what was that Sleeping Beauty apple? Mm.
Man, I also got this too.
Oh.
When I'm feeling a little frisky.
Oh, okay, what are these?
Those are class mods.
All right, let me see something here,
I
cause.
think they're for everybody.
What
All right. My bad.
the heck was that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, those are relics for anybody.
Oh, relics? I forgot how to crouch in this game. See?
See?
I forgot all the keybinds there.
Oh my god, this is the thing about video games. You don't play for a while.
Like the whole new game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Take that.
What is this one? Oh my god! Look, I pressed the wrong button to grab. What game was I just recently playing that F was action? Like, I hate that. Yo, my guy got a lot of spikes on. I don't remember him looking like that. Or is it because I upgraded him?
I got 50 keys, holy smokes. Oh wow.
Look at that spikes, bro. He's like a Sean Conn without legs.
Anybody want to rock?
Oh, what is this? What is it? Hold on, let me take a look. I can't grab it. Oh, yeah, it's worth good money. I'll sell it either way. Let me see. What I got? I got sniper, pistol.
I got 50 keys, wow.
I got 0.
Dude. So I put a little like I kind of mess with the INI files in my directory. You know how like you can kind of mess around with the shading and the sharpening and all that good stuff. The settings you don't see in the game, but you can do manually. What the hell was that? What is that? Oh my god, the particles are real.
What's your favorite? SMGs?
SMGs? Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you guys want? You're fired! This one's probably the best one, really. Oh, I pressed F again.
Are y'all ready for missions? Stop getting distracted.
Let's do it.
One more. Garbage. Garbage.
Ooh, what is this?
With a better shield than mine. But I guess my gun's empty.
Somebody upstairs.
Yeah, I'm stuck on a wall.
All right, so let's see here. What's our next objective, guys? What do we got? The once and future slab. Is that what we're doing? What are you doing, Jay? Are you trying to go out of the bounds again? I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to go underneath the map to go see Maxie, huh? Did you see that picture that Jay posted, bro? This guy, he went out of the map, went under the bar just to look at Maxie underneath her dress.
Good grief.
Why does Jay know this stuff? I have no idea, but he took a lot of time to figure that one out. Good job, Jay. I'll give you credit for that, bro. That's good. That's dedication, bro. I got the power. Right, like always. Right, bro. Oh, remember that glitch you were having with your car in the garage, bro? I was getting it too. A lot of people were getting it. There are workarounds. So one of these days when you get back on, I got you, bro. We're gonna fix that problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to do side or main?
You know what? Let's do a side. Let's get some freshening up. Wait, what's all this green goo? Oh, it moves. Oh my god, this is like Jello. Like, I want to lick my monitor right now. Speaking of monitors, guys, stuff is gonna go on sale for computers soon, so be ready.
What?
Yeah. They're already talking about the 3080 cards, so RTXs are gonna go down. AMD is really making the video worried in terms of performance. What was it? The AMD 5700 or whatever it's called, the RX 700 or whatever. What is it? Which one is it? It had good reviews, bro.
What, 3600?
Not the 3600. No, the GPU. It was the I think it was called the RX 7000 or something like that, or 5700.
That's where he'll be. Now be careful though. He kind of lost it after Hyperion
Yeah.
killed his dog.
Oh man. Yo, this is kind of cool, bro. I got this game in third person mode. This ain't bad.
How the hell you do that? Holy shit.
Yeah, I had to manipulate it a little bit, but I did it. Ooh. Only problem is it looks weird.
Well, you gotta follow it. You get the same color as me.
Right?
Just scared the fuck out of me for a second. I forgot the noise of that.
Yeah. Do you guys want to I can show you like a I'll put it on Discord so you guys can see it better. So you have to load up the stream.
Somebody's here watching me.
Time to get serious. Put your back straight up, like you're putting two hands on a wheel when you see a cop.
Control core hangs outside. That's where the vault key's being held. The Slab King is up on the other cliff.
You get a
He can help us get past the bunker outside the control
Yeah, I
core.
kind of got a stalker right now.
Oh, hey, stalkers are great, dude. Stalkers are great. Whoa, what's going on? Whoa, what kind of gun do I have? What is this? Oh, I'm almost dead. Oh gosh.
Intruder, huh? Sounds like Hyperion sent another.
The heck is going on?
All right, boys. Fight like badasses.
Oh, I think this is an assault rifle.
Have to fight to the slabs to reach the king. Be careful.
Oh wait, how do we grab money again? Oh, hold E.
Over it.
Oh, run over it. Oh, so what the hell?
I forgot the sniper does that.
What the?
Oh, what is that? Oh, nice shot. Oh, what the? Jay, you getting me killed, bro.
Ow.
I don't know. Right. Fluffy, thank you for the follow.
Yeah, take a grenade.
Where's the grenade? Granata? Oh, what is this? A single fire sniper?
Mine's a triple sniper.
Oh, we got that thing up top. Get it, get it. Or is this a shotgun with a scope on it?
Probably.
Oh, I'm done.
Man, you're scared of a raging midget? Come on.
Wait, there's raging midgets?
Yep.
What the? So what is this, a handgun? Oh, we gotta get this guy down. Oh my gosh, what the?
Who? Which guy behind me, Fluffy? There's so many people around me. There's Tricks, there's Jim.
I heard Jen. Where's Jen at?
Oh, Jin? I didn't say Jin. I said Jim.
Oh, I thought maybe you added it to the collection or something. Oh gosh.
Yeah, might as well. In my room, there's no guy behind me.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't nothing behind me. What are you talking about?
Oh, these guys don't even stand a chance, bro. Yo, how was Borderlands 3 though, Bori? Yay or nay?
Yes, I'm positive. There's nothing behind me. They want to distract me.
What the hell is that? I got you guys.
Well, I don't know what y'all talking about, 'cause I don't see nobody. There ain't nobody moving.
That hurt. I poisoned myself. That hurt.
Wait, who's that green guy? Is that the one we gotta rescue? Oh, this is my sniper. Don't shoot. Okay, I'm waiting. Hold on. We got a midget. Some other guy with like a yellow beacon on his head. So I guess he's part of our objective. He got something around his neck.
Kill them.
Oh, kill them all. All right. I like where we're going with that. 3, 2, 1. Wait, I can't kill that guy. Oh, face McShooty. Oh, I guess we need him. Wait, what happened to the? Oh, he died.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that ain't gonna scare me. I know my room ins and outs.
Ooh. I gotta get some better shield going on.
It's botched. There we go, better.
Yeah, here, you know what? I'm gonna do something for you guys. You're gonna like this. Hold on.
Facey McShooty? Face McShooty? What is it?
Boo-doo-boo. Ooh.
Wee wee.
Got some nudie bags.
The heck did it go?
It's up to everybody.
Yeah, I'm gonna post something here on the VIP chat real quick, guys. I want you guys to tell me what you think. Look what I do towards the end. So you see how like the colors are, and then look when I change it.
The dude Fluffy wants to join us.
What level's Fluffy? Or unless they unless they want to make a new character real quick for us. Do you know Fluffy like personally?
I don't know. That's the same person that joined level 30.
Yeah, you called all of us. I don't know who you is.
Me neither. I can make this jump. Whee! Nope, I can't. I can't make that jump.
No?
Nope.
You can. Do I gotta show you how to do it, Bori? Look at Bori, he just teleported over there. Oh my god, I almost made it! No! Man, how much that's gonna cost me?
that's one way to jump.
Hey, it worked. Look at Jay. Poor Jay.
What did you
All right.
Oh.
All right. Who wants to shoot him in the face?
What's wrong with this guy?
All right. Shut up. You want to shoot him in the face?
Wow, Bori, dang, look at the blood. Is there really that much blood in the game?
Yeah.
I don't remember that much blood. Wait, how do I melee? Oh, I think I changed it to this. Yeah, I did. That's crazy. Oh yeah, there's so much more blood in this game. Like there's goo everywhere. Or is that just oh,
What?
I don't know.
Wow, stop it. There we go. You know what? Take a wrong gun.
Got him. So why am I seeing green when I shoot them?
Because you probably have a corrosive gun.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's what the green is. Oh no, it's not. Maybe it is a. Is it? You see the green too?
Yeah, it's a corrosive gun. I got one too.
Is it very corrosive?
Don't even hurt yourself. Don't shoot yourself with it. Fresh rat where? I don't see a fresh rat.
Oh my god.
Mission
With a fresh rat?
Fresh rat? Now that sounds like good protein.
on.
Why did? Oh, a nudie magazine. So it is a nude magazine. Where is it at? I'm gonna try to zoom in on it.
We already picked it up.
He's already looking at it.
Yeah, I know he's looking at it. He wants to look at it.
There ain't no fresh rat here. This game lies.
No fresh rat? Where? Let me see. No, nothing's in there. Fresh rat?
Oh man, you don't know how bad I was missing my PC that whole month I was away.
Oh man. Yeah. Honestly, dude. I know I complain about my computer. And I think here's the thing about being a PC gamer. We're never going to be fully satisfied. Okay? Unless we go out and spend $5,000 or more on a computer. There's always going to be that graphics card we want. There's always going to be that better CPU we want. There's always going to be, we need more RAM, more storage. There's always going to be, I got to put color RGB fans and whatever in your tower. I want to go full liquid cooling. I just don't feel like dealing with it.
Oh my gosh, oh shit.
And I don't want to worry about water leaking in there. And you know, because the CPU plate alone is like $100. It's almost it's the same price as the all-in-one, but the all-in-ones last about 5 years. So I'd rather just do the 5 years. And then if you don't keep the water clean, if you don't, you know, perform maintenance on it and whatnot, it's a scary thing. And why are we so high up in the air? Oh, why am I shooting Sanctuary?
You should never smoke that last thing. That's why you're so high up in the air.
I can't help it, man. Jay, were you stuck down there, bro? Can't find a hole, or the hole found you? Oh, wait.
I went down to get the money.
Uh-huh. Oh, you went down to get the money?
Stole the money, yep.
Hold on, where is this guy? Oh, I got it. Let's get him. There we go. Let's get him. Man, he's fast. This ain't fair. There's another one inbound. Oh yeah, this corrosive ain't playing. Holy. And Jay is on fire. That's crazy, guys. That is crazy indeed. You're on COD? Really? Thomas, you need to add me, bro.
Sweet.
You need to add me, Jay. I mean, Thomas. Guys, are we going up?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Go up.
Why just me? Bori, are you not telling me something here? Jay, he wants us to get murdered first. There's a boss up here.
Probably is.
Right. Bori's like, they have no idea.
Like, there's a lot of stuff.
Wait.
You already clicked the button without me and not telling me about it. Why? Y'all already in there.
I'm stealing everything. There ain't gonna be nothing else when you get up here.
Yeah, right? What's up, buddy? How's it going?
Right.
How are you doing today?
Shotgun, me. Meh, and meh.
Meh, meh.
Right, yeah.
Move it.
Yo, who needs health? Bori. Oh, you already grabbed it. All right, did you guys grab guns?
Don't want those trash.
So this one's a shotgun. It's not even worth that much. Nah, I don't want this. Wee. I love this, man. This is like Jello. Like, it's making me hungry.
You're always hungry.
I know. I love food.
Spooner with the robot. That is some artsy
A
fartsy
what?
bull
A
crap, my
spoon?
friend. Chicks love that. That's going in the poem.
Where'd you guys go?
Stuff.
Wait, what?
We're looking for a spooner.
I think I know what he's implying. We gotta find it. Find a spoon. Maybe the fork will be next.
Maybe he wants to get forked.
Oh. Well, they do say don't leave a fork in the road.
Some shields.
Wait, you guys are down here? Wait, there's no fall damage, is there? I don't remember.
Jump. Jump. Jump.
Woo! Oh my god. That tickled. And nothing happened.
Forgot to do.
What? Ooh, what?
And what's this? Oh.
And
Porta potty? Ooh, what's this? Nah. I think after this I gotta start selling some things. Wait, I forgot how to check my how do we check my been a while.
Somebody needs shields?
Wait, how do I check my inventory? Wait, why can't I scroll? I have to use the arrows, really? Oh, I got a lot of empty spots. I need to start.
the healing. I'm dying here.
Oh, where you at, Jay?
I could heal you guys, but I can't heal myself.
Nah, I'm freezing. Hold on, I gotta turn the fan back off.
You're freezing. Aw, come on.
I like this gun. It has like an ultra zoom. It's sweet. For a pistol.
Anybody want to snap the picture?
Ugh, where is it at? Oh, is that the nudie magazine?
No.
Oh, no.
We already picked up the nudie magazine.
What? And you didn't show me? Ooh. Wait, were these guys?
Jim told me to pick it up now before Tricks get to it, because it's gonna be stuck together.
Well, I was just trying to stick to the mission. Ooh, what's this?
A lone flower surrounded by
Why is this one random flower
turn that into a symbol of
so weird and awkward?
flowers
Part of the mission.
or birds or I got it. All right.
Hey, what's going on there, Meryl?
Completed and stuff. Get
Alright,
back
This
here.
thing
I
has
will
weird
not
like
read to you.
campers. And a bunch of dryer cards.
Wait, is that the Hitman song? Wait, is that Sanctuary? We being shot at?
No.
By me.
Oh, okay.
These old panties. I've been shot at.
That's
Oh,
better.
like,
So wait, am I supposed to do something with this? No, I can't do nothing with the flower.
Nope.
Oh,
We just
man.
picked it up. That's it.
Oh, that's what we did?
Yep.
Delivered the note. Once and future slab.
Do you need to stop at a shop first and sell stuff?
Yeah, let me get rid of the shenanigans. Are we near one?
Yep.
Okay, now we're being shot at. That's it. Come here.
you're the only one that gets shot at.
Oh, gosh!
Wow. Oops, I missed.
Damn, well, everybody's turning different colors on me. Purple, green, yellow. Like, what the heck? We all got element guns.
Yep.
Man, we ain't playing. Well, this was from that chest, right? The whatever you want. Yeah, see, the only Borderlands I remember actually playing was 1. I think I beat 1. I think I did. I think. I'm not gonna put 100% faith into that, but I'm pretty sure. I think I kind of bounced around on it, but when 2 came out, never got to play it. Bori's our tour guide.
Oh, well, yeah, if I am.
I can't find his ladder. Oh, what the?
What are you doing?
Checking out porta potties. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, I didn't realize the music was weird in this game.
I wouldn't know because I'm listening to my own music.
There you go. I got my music, I think, set to 1. It's so low and faint, but it's like it's making like that, like you know when you like watch like Egypt movies or something.
I don't hear no music, so I must have mine off. So
Yeah, usually I turn it off. I think I got it real low. Ooh, what's this?
The team you dispatched to the village of Ahas has returned, sir. No problems, I'm assuming. Not quite. They were unable to secure the village. Whoa, run that by me again. Only one member of the occupation force made it back alive. He has 2 broken legs, he lost an arm, and sunstroke seems to have driven him completely insane.
reload.
But he keeps saying one name over and over. Yeah? What name? Salvador.
Wait, what guns do I have equipped?
Oh, what guns do you have equipped?
Wait, I got 4 guns equipped? How? Oh, we spent the black market, whatever, right? Is that what I did? Okay, I had to.
Bert.
You ready?
Yeah, buddy.
Superman. You keep getting in my way. How rude.
Well, then move.
I was healing you up when I was shooting you. I was like, get out of my way. I'm not trying to heal you up.
How much money do I have?
Ow.
That hurt. You missed.
Hey.
Dusty was just a puppy. Almost as nice as my first dog. You let your boss know I'm gonna do to him exactly what he did to her.
Why does he sound like Roland almost?
You, what do you
Yeah,
mean
probably
they
the
ain't
same voice
volunteering?
actor.
Oh,
Yeah,
must be a new recruit.
must have been on the budget.
Let's put him through the ringer. Oh yeah. The Slab King won't talk to you unless you join his gang.
There's health right here.
Survive whatever initiation he's got planned for you.
Who needs it?
I need it.
Go grab it. Or Bori needs armor. He's regenerating. What is that? That keeps. I think I'm submitting like some kind of shockwave. Oh!
Probably because the sniper you got is a shockwave.
Maybe. Or maybe it does it when I reload. Oh! I forgot what my abilities were doing. That's crazy. Yo, I like this green goo. Oh, here comes the jet. Oh, he's down and out.
Level up.
Accuracy's overrated anyway.
What's out ahead?
Level up.
Yo, what's up, Fluffy? How are you, man? Oh, another jet coming inbound.
Yep, got a corrosive.
Got him down. Oh, those guys are easy. Okay. Oh, another one.
What are you doing down here? Oh, I see. You found something that you're trying to hog, huh?
Oh, you little sneaky. See, I'm telling you, man, Jay. When you're worrying about me with the nudie magazines, you gotta watch for Jay, man.
Oh no. Okay.
How'd you get down there?
There's a little crevice right there. Gotta watch out that you can fall all the way down to the...
Oh, I see it now. Ooh. Oh gosh, I do see the.
I think you've come to the wrong town. You want...
There's nothing important here, though.
No?
Nope.
Get down!
They're just money.
Money. Oh, but we share money. Oh man. Do I get back up the pipe? Oh boy. Boom, bum, 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 bum.
Open up. I guess we gotta go upstairs.
Like how we got that. Yeah.
We need to level up.
Whoa. I'm gonna move for a loaded potato griller.
Yeah, let's do that. Alright, who's jumping in first?
Nope, not me. Come on, Jay, let's go.
Alright, I've been told Jim to jump first.
Good job, guys. Oh, who are we after? Where is he? Right there? Let's get him. Oh, we can't attack him first? Oh my gosh. Let's get him, let's get him. Oh, what, that guy got fly?
No, he can't fly.
Why is my guy not doing anything?
No, wrong button.
Oh, who's down? Bori, you okay? You got it?
Yeah, I clicked the wrong button. F is my throw button for some reason.
Really? Good job there, Jay.
I'm empty.
I'm out of ammo, really?
Right in the room.
Oh! That hurts! My shields!
There's a rocket launcher here somebody want. There's a thing for siren.
Oh, you son of a gun.
Recruits making you look like idiots. Slabs, go get 'em.
Those guys really hurted. Oh my god, green goo everywhere. Oh, what the?
None of this, Merc. I'm gonna kill you.
Wow. The audio is just loud.
Yeah, the audio is super loud. Yo, who is just blowing them up to smithereens?
I don't know.
Ooh.
What the?
That was disgusting.
It's like suicide bombing.
They may bring out the big guns.
Seriously, I just switched out my weapon.
How the hell are you gonna hurt Sam? My happiness that was disgusting. I love it. I hated that guy.
As that, they made me bring out the big guns.
So what? Slab is invincible. We can't take him out. Oh, is that what it is? Okay, because I don't remember seeing that before. Or maybe now it works.
Cheating. Cheaters.
I'm not cheating. I'm just throwing nades.
No, they cheating.
Just you know, there's stairs over here you can climb up. You know. You know what? I'm over here gaming without my gaming glasses on.
Uh-oh. No, thank you. Better players.
That guy jumped down to you.
begin to get to me. I only got one thing to say to you.
Oh.
That's awesome.
I knew he was gonna say awesome.
Wait, that's the guy from part 1, right?
So what you want? You are the biggest badass of all time. And you survived initiation. I'm proud to call you a slab.
Call us a slab.
These weapons? Probably not. They all trash.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. My my username on the Call of Duty is going to be that. So just add me up, Thomas. You should be able to. So it's one of the new things that they've added. This must have been recent because it was never like this nice looking ever. Or maybe I don't know, man. Because I'm gonna watch my older episodes to kind of see, because this episode I've changed a few things. So yeah, it's nice to see that it looks good.
Yeah, it looks a lot cleaner and nicer.
And my mic wasn't muted. I am so sorry. Yeah, the game looks different. I don't remember it looking this nice.
Yeah, it looks a little cleaner.
Come on back and we'll see about getting to that door.
Maybe because when the part 3 came out or something, because we haven't really played since 3 launched. So follow brick, okay.
Fuck you, loot midget. Die, loot midget. Oh, fucker hurts.
Vault Hunter met the slabs. What a lovely opportunity to kill 2 bandits with 1 mortar assault.
Targeting beacons initialized.
Knowing Trixie, probably
Beginning
cheating.
mortar bombardment.
Hmm?
Using mortars again.
Nah, I don't use cheat codes.
What the?
I could use cheat codes, but what would be the fun in that though?
Nobody left to help you with the bunker.
So how are you able to be in third person?
Well, I can see you guys in the game. All you gotta do is just change the coordinates on your camera angle. That's all.
For the beacons, we're dead.
So you just give it like the
Any pistols?
X and Y value.
Anybody want any pistols?
Huh? Pistols where?
Upstairs?
Holy, there's people outside.
We'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll be okay.
What the heck?
Wait, how the heck you guys get up there?
To the right, this way.
Oh. Yeah. I'm just kind of testing just to see how it feels in third person. Honestly, the game has crosshair anyway, so it doesn't matter. Now, if I didn't have a crosshair, there's no way I could do third person. Only problem is...
I just told you which way to go, Jim. Go that way. That way.
Oh, why not?
Fine then, I'll take all the pistols for myself. I don't care.
I got a good pistol. I like this.
Thank you, Thomas.
Iridium.
Oh, Iridium? Where?
I collect it and y'all gain the benefits of it.
Ooh, nice. Sounds good. So when you file taxes, I get taxes? Is that how it works?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, man, come on.
It's going straight into my next computer build.
There you go. Man, I wish I got income tax. I'm so jealous. Dude, if I had income tax right now... pfft.
I'm probably gonna owe the government money.
Yeah, trust me, I know the feeling.
I think I made a little bit too much this year.
Don't you love it? It's okay. Just look on Facebook pretty soon, bro. Everybody's gonna be like whooping out their hundreds, buying new J's, buying new cars, new mattresses, furniture, getting new apartments. Everybody's gonna be balling.
A couple months later, it's gonna get all repo back.
Well, yeah. They can't afford the payments no more.
They want to be splurging on shit that they can't afford.
All right, what do we got here? No, they're all kind of pooey. So 369. I mean, this alone is probably like 12 to 1300 worth of money if you want it.
Okay, just stop moving. I can heal you up.
Who? What? Oh, I'm sorry. I have this thing where
I never sit still.
Hey, nothing much. Hey, how are you?
I I gotta follow brick anyway.
There's a brick out there?
Let's go outside with brick. All right, well, we're gonna follow the brick. Let's go. Let's do it. What gun is this? I think this was the shotgun. Dum 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 dum. Yo, he went all the way ahead without us.
No, he's with me.
Here comes Hyperion.
My beacons. Here come the bots, bandits.
Hey, take a grenade. Sit on it.
It's kind of cool how they just launched from there to... Wait, what the... Yeah, I'll have to check it times. I hope it works, bro. Maybe the new update fixed it, right? I can't be yawning. No way.
I
Where'd you-
gotta force myself to stay up.
I know.
Go back to sleep. Go back to my regular sleeping schedule.
Right? Honestly, I've been sleeping early, bro, which is not good.
Like, waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning every day is like,
That sucks. Oh, the plane got it. I'm on it. Wait, is that ours? No.
oh, there's nothing. Ow, what the hell? Oh, the circles.
Bori, I got you. Stay alive. Oh gosh. I got you.
Well, let me finish this damn. There we go.
Ah,
Get out of the circles.
it's making me go in circles. Did it? I don't. All right, what's going on?
Get out of the target circle.
How is it? Who's that, Brick? What the hell is Brick doing? Okay, he's busting the shields. Oh, how we kill the beacon?
Shoot it.
Damn it, boss.
Oh,
Get him away from the beacon.
there we go. Oh gosh, robot. Okay. Oh, oh, oh.
It's good against them.
Yeah, yeah, very good. I love it. I want it. Oh, they got shields. Okay, all right. We got the thing in the air. I'm on it. Yeah, this Kuros is good against those ships too.
Yep.
So mostly, a lot of things seem like to have armor than anything.
Yep.
Oh, suicide bomber.
High and dry.
Dum bum dum dum.
Have you heard the new song Bad Bunny came out with?
Which one?
The one about Kobe Bryant?
No, I haven't heard that one.
Pretty good.
I could imagine his latest songs have been pretty good. He just came out of nowhere, man. I remember when I first saw Bad Bunny, I saw him with like Kanye, and they were just singing. And at first, I saw him, I'm like, and all of a sudden, that's it, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
Target circles.
But you know what? He has like that vibe that attracts that type of audience, though. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of people like his lyrics, just like Asuna. Asuna came out of nowhere too.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I first saw Asuna, it was what song was it? I think it was the La Occasion with De La Ghetto and Asuna. Who was that? No, not Noel. Yeah, Noel, I think, right? Oh, Anuel, yeah.
Oh,
Had-
what?
Yeah, Anuel, yeah. I had to think for a second. I'm like, it's not Noel. It's too basic. I knew there was like a twist to his name. Who just went down?
Crap. Ow.
Wow, I'm on fire. We did it though.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some help here.
I need help bad. Oh my god, no, bro. I don't remember this much, like, goo. Is it all over the floor for you guys?
Yep.
Well, we all got in the video, right?
No, I have AMD.
So you probably don't see this goo then.
Get the health right there.
Oh, yeah, I'm grabbing it.
Yeah, I see it. The black stuff? Yeah, I see it.
No, not the black. It was like all green goo. Sometimes we see orange goo, yellow goo, purple goo.
I see black stuff.
So you don't see the other stuff?
I see how it is. Earnhart
Yeah.
watching your stream, but not mine.
Ugh.
I see how you are, Earnhardt. I see who your favorite guy is.
He actually followed me. I can't believe that because he hasn't followed me before.
That was fun.
Messed up, man.
Badass job today. Oh,
Oh, that's
and
messed
just so you know, my slabs are
I don't
probably
even think
still
he ever
trying to
followed
kill
me.
those freaking idiots.
fucked
Don't
up.
feel bad about
I
killing them.
follow him and everything, and he doesn't even follow me. Jeez.
Earnhardt. Dude. Alright, let's go. Oh, what the hell happened? Uh-oh.
My bad. What time is it? Oh yeah, we're good. Okay.
Somebody's boozing their powers.
Oh, we're back at Century? Alright, let me see. Let me sell some stuff. Wait, how do I forgot how to check our iridium. I have 10. That's nothing.
Go to
Right?
Earl and find out how much you have.
Why is this person banging on the window? Is this person banging on the window for you guys?
Yep.
Yeah, what's that look on the face?
I'm gonna increase the amount of items you can store.
Yo, you know what this lady reminds me of? When we used to take those pens in class on the school desk and like bust the beat. You hear it? Watch. Okay, I'm done. Now we just need Jay or Bori to bust the beat or bust the lyrics real quick.
Nope, not me.
Backpack upgrade or store. I think I'm gonna go with that.
Right. Oh, I had to get some H2O real quick.
H to the no.
H to the Izzo.
Yeah, let me go.
Let me check Earl. Earl had it.
Earnhardt?
I'm going to box.
Earnhardt is at work?
What?
That's a lie.
Nah, he works now.
Yeah, he's been working for a while.
Yeah.
Doing what?
Playing games. That's basically all he does all day long is play games. On his phone, I don't know what he does for work. He has never actually told. But it must be easy because he sits there and plays browser games and mobile games pretty much all day.
I think I'm gonna save my iridium because this stuff's gonna be expensive.
I got no idea.
Oh, it's expensive, alright.
Yeah, because I think I've upgraded quite a bit. Most of them cost me about 12 to 10 now a piece.
To breach the final door to my chambers, you'll need to be Jack.
Oh,
It means passing a bioscan and speaking a password.
wait, did I get any other new attachments?
Jack's body double's an opportunity. I can get you through that door.
They didn't invite me.
Angel's the best lead we got. You already know not to trust her, but
Speaking of gambling, I won some money at the casino I went to. Ow, you could have warned me.
I didn't have time.
Ah! I got a gun.
There you all good.
For that, I'm taking your slot machine.
I'm taking the gun, dude. Ooh, wow, that's a good one. Good
Take
one.
it if you want it. He put up everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, that gun's trash.
don't even know if he's following me. He said still can't listen though.
Oh no, yeah. If he's at work, he won't be able to listen, but he'll type up.
And he just watched it on his phone.
Right.
Must be nice to have a job that you can sit there and play games, watch streams, not really do anything.
Well, you know.
Move, Jim! Ow.
Oh, where you guys at?
Blowing stuff up into this Moxies.
Moxie's. No, I know that's your place. Mm-hmm.
I'm stuck.
Problem is though, we can't do it now because the sanctuary is already in the air.
I'm stuck. There we go.
Oh,
what's
got
this?
Really,
I got stuck. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. Get out of my way.
Hey, what's this? Should we do this or no? The Bane?
yeah, sure, why not? We're here.
The Bane. Marcus.
Wow, I think you
Alright. Go ask Marcus.
another good rocket launcher.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Marcus.
I knew I had
Paulo.
of that gun. I bought it off a guy a few months ago. Great gun, but it's cursed. I sold it to a bandit named
There goes that beat again. Bum 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 bum. All right, Jay, show me how you did it, bro. How'd you get out the map?
I don't know. How did you get out of the map?
No, it wasn't me.
I haven't even had this game downloaded for a long time, so how would I do it?
I don't know. You always find a.
Oh, no. Whoa, too loud.
Yeah. Nah, I think I remember how you did it, Jay. I think you said you had to do it before Sanctuary launches up in the air. Yo, what the?
Alright.
Come on, it'll be fun.
Jack destroyed my Underdome after I dumped him, and now he wants to build his own arena just to rub it in my face. We're not gonna let that happen, sugar. Get out to Opportunity and kill the construction foreman who's running the project.
Ow!
Right. Those element effects, man.
Screw it. I don't need ammo.
Oh, seriously?
Are y'all dueling?
I'm gonna stay here in Sanctuary for the long haul, but my slabs still need some stuff done back in Thousand Cuts. So go meet with Rocco. He's a total
See, all
tool,
my guns heal you.
but
That's
at
not
least
fair.
he won't try to
Yeah, right. I ran out of ammo, man. I tried to find my pistol, but I forgot I had 4 guns on me.
Come on. Battle real experienced player. Come on.
Who what? Who what? I don't understand what's going on here.
You sure?
Can I third party?
Why am I using this pistol?
I'm using a pistol.
No, no, but this pistol I'm using is really bad. I think it is. Wait, what is with this pistol? Hold on, let me check my stuff here. Oh, wait, what's this? Mission complete. Hold on.
Yeah, turn in your missions. Yeah, probably haven't been turning in your missions.
Oh, what? Oh, what the heck was that?
And now for the latest edition of This Just In with Hunter Hellquist.
Security forces successfully repelled yet another attack from the Slab Bandit clan today. The Slabs, headed by the bandit leader known as Brick, were founded several months after the liberation in New Haven. The group's stated goal remains the same: to assassinate.
All right. So what's going on with this guy? This just in? He don't give us nothing?
The entire planet into
Nope.
chaos.
Seriously?
These attacks, the
So you don't see all this green goo, Jay?
when I hit you, yeah, it does, but it doesn't stay.
Dude, you're.
We got a lot of side quests.
We have a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird. Hey, don't be looking at me.
The goo's even dripping off the building. Wow, that's impressive.
All right, let's go to.
Here, Jay, I'm gonna show you what it looks like real quick on Discord.
Side or main?
Don't matter. What do you want to do, Jay? I think last time I picked side, so you guys choose. One of you guys.
Up to y'all.
We can do that side, I guess.
All right.
All right.
Goo on your stream, what the heck? Bro?
Yeah, look. Oh, well, why does it look like that? Whoa. Oh, but anyway, so I posted on Discord. Tell me what you think, bro.
The zombies are cool.
Yeah, mine does look. Maybe there's some setting.
Yeah, it's if you go into settings, it's just like X settings. What was it? Just make sure your Psych X effects is on high.
I don't have that option. I
Yep.
have the option, but it's grayed out.
Why is it? Wait, you have an NVIDIA card, right?
No.
Oh. Okay, yeah, that's a NVIDIA feature. That's all. But doesn't AMD have their own little whatever? I think they use different effects, but I think it's only if the game supports it, though. This game is sponsored with NVIDIA, so that's probably why.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's on low, so I can't change it.
Don't worry about it. You're not missing much. It just looks like nice, delicious Jello. That's all.
Yeah, it looks cool. I saw it on your stream.
Yeah.
Wow, it looks, mine just like disintegrates as soon as I shoot.
Yeah.
Except for, like,
Well, I'm sure there's, if you want like more gore, I could try to find you like the value for it maybe, and then we can probably adjust it with that. But it may not stay on the ground though. I think I'm gonna try to see if I can get the character's body parts to dismember or dismember or whatever.
What my other board I'm going for?
Which one?
I put it in VIP lounge.
The 3600X. I think that was the one I was looking at not too long ago. I heard the Ryzen 7s are good. Okay, so you're going with the Ryzen 5. Actually, all the Ryzens are good. Well, not all.
Oh, wait, what, wrong one.
Let me take a look here. Oh, and you're going this is the wrong one. See, I don't care that they come with the coolers. I really don't. But you know what though? If you ever go air cooler, go Noctua, whatever the heck it's called. How is she moving without her feet? What the?
Yeah, I think
Oh, you're getting the whole bundle, yeah. How much is this anyway? Ryzen 5 3600. Where's the specs? That's what I like. Ooh, 3.8 core, not bad. 6 core. Is there any threads? Oh, okay. 12 threads, 6 core.
That's the wrong one. That's the 5. I'm going for the 7.
Yeah, 6 core, 12 thread. Actually, dude, it's not bad in terms of clock speeds. 3.8, but 4.4 gigahertz. Oh yeah, the Ryzen 7. This is probably going to be nice.
That's the one I meant to go for.
Let's take a look. And you're getting a good motherboard, bro. That's one of the ones I'm going to get. The ROG is a very good company, by the way. And they're very known for RGB. So if you like RGB, ROG Strix is a good brand. Well, on here it shows, well, maybe you change it to Asus, but ROG Strix is a pretty good board.
Asus rocks.
Oh, is that what it says? All right, let's see here. 8 core, 16 threads. Yeah, that's good enough, bro. Like, I hate the fact that I'm trying to change mine, but I have to, bro. I'm sick and tired of like, and the problem is sometimes having too many cores is not really the key. But it does make it future proof. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say in 2 years from now, 8 threads may be the new thing. 10 threads is going to be the new thing. the hyper thread logical threads are cool, but you really want to get the natural cores too. So right now you're going to be running 8 real physical cores, and then you're going to have 16 threads. So that 8 cores is good. That's actually better than what I got right now. I bet you that motherboard is, I mean, that processor is so much cheaper than what I paid. How much is the
Case I'm going for?
How much is all this all together? It doesn't even give me a price. Oh, wait.
The price is like 500 something together.
That's a good deal. Let me see here.
Yeah, that's right. Right, yeah. That's the motherboard order. Ooh. Ow. Ooh, that one looks nice.
Hey. Okay. Okay. Oh my goodness, you.
Do it. So what do you think of that case?
Let's take a look. Oh, this is a Razer case? That's interesting.
It's a Leon P Razor Edition case.
It's a mid-tower. It depends on what you're gonna put in it. Mid-towers are okay. Sometimes you don't need the full tower space if you're not really looking to go like liquid cooling. Like I had no choice but to go full tower because I wanted
Space on that one?
Yeah, so your bottom shows a lot of room, which is good. The only thing is that it looks roomy, but I'm telling you, once you start adding things, it's gonna get cramped up. Is this a bad guy? Oh, these are good guys. But not necessarily our full tower case is good, because then you have to understand when you get a full case tower, you got a lot of open space. So if you're not getting proper ventilation, you're gonna build up a lot of heat, and that's more space that you have to take in and out the heat or whatever, airflow wise. But it looks nice. Looks nice. Does it have like a side glass to it? Yeah, I see the side glass. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good case. Just make sure you read the USB ports and stuff. Make sure it's what you want. You know, everybody has like their nitty picky thingies. It's up to you.
Fluffy wants to know if they can join.
As long as they're not higher level than us, I don't mind.
Level 30.
Level 30? That is kind of high though. I mean, we'll catch up to them, but they're gonna be one shooting things.
Alright, get in so we go to the mission.
Oh shoot, you guys are waiting for me?
Yeah, we're waiting on you.
Oh my god, I pressed the wrong button. Okay, I'm on.
Oh, I clicked the wrong button.
Get away from the caravan!
Wow. What
And then one of the main things I like about the AMD though is the PCI lanes. I think most of them will give you 24. Oh, what just happened? We just blew up. Oh boy, where is he?
Get to the caravan.
Where are you guys? Oh my god, there's blood all over the place.
Let's see what the caravan has for us.
Where'd it go? Oh, it's running from us?
No, the caravan's right over here.
Oh, we took it out.
What's y'all shields looking like? What's y'all shield looking like?
Mine's at 1392.
I miss my ammo.
Yeah, but really, he's.
No, it's leaving. Come here.
Yeah, he said he just wants to be watching and help.
Oh my gosh. Here comes the Jeep. Is that you guys?
This is Big Fluffy. I beat this game about 5-6 times now already. 4 different characters. So I've beaten this game a lot of times already. Now let's see how far we gotta go.
You said you're going with the Ryzen 7 3770X, right? Yeah, that's the one you want, bro. Because your next one up, if you do go a step up, which is up to, well, I don't know, because I think you're going to lose. Let me see here. Hold on. Okay, the only thing about the one you're getting, though, is the wattage is going to be lower. But for the amount of power that it's pushing at such low watts, that's not bad, actually.
You said 3700 is good.
Yeah. I'm looking right now at it. So the one you got is going to do 4.4.
What did you do?
Yeah, 65 watts. Pretty good, bro.
Nothing.
Why are you dying? Stop dying.
Because this damn thing just popped out of nowhere.
I think for $10 more, though, you can get... Well, it's really the same thing. What's the difference? What are you getting for 10 bucks?
Ignore the 5s. Ignore the 5.
No. This the Ryzen 7 3800X and then the 3700. They're both 16 cores. But I'm trying to think...
3700X.
What? I think you get like half a gigahertz more. That's all you're getting 4.5 instead of 4.4. That's the only difference I see here.
And the 1800 or 3800.
Yeah, the 38. I don't really see like a drastic difference, except you're going to be running more wattage. Are you overclocking or no?
No, most likely not.
Okay, so then you're not gonna have to worry about that. Yeah, say the $10. Just make sure you get a good motherboard. That's all. That's more important.
Yeah.
Don't do it like I did, bro. Like my motherboard, I don't know what it is about my VRM, but like it gets hot. Not to the point where it's gonna malfunction, but it's pretty toasty. Like right now, my motherboard is 105 degrees Fahrenheit.
It was the turbo button.
Yeah, well, I am overclocked, so I am running 4.7 constant like gigahertz speed. I can't do like everybody else, bro. Everybody be like overclocking their Intel 8700s to like 5 gigahertz. It won't let me, bro. It just says nope.
The hell do you mean, you're a soldier? They's with us.
He did it again.
They weren't covered.
I keep doing it, bro. That E and F throws me off. Who are these guys? These are our guys? Hey, what the?
Who you want to kill?
I don't know. Who do we want? Whose side are we on?
Well, you chose a side.
Who's this guy? I don't even know who these guys are. I forgot. I love how my depth trap's over there. Oh, we're killing all of them? Oh, God! Oh, wait. How?
This dude guy's red.
Oh, we just blew up the floor? Oh, there's stuff down here.
Stop running. Kill this guy right there. Oh, he did.
I mean... If anything, did you guys want Fluffy to join?
It don't bother me at all.
Yeah, 30's not too bad. As long as he ain't whipping out on level 60, 78. I don't even know what the cap is in this game. No, they keep...
I forget what the cap is. I haven't played this shit in so long.
Right. So we chose a side.
What's your name?
Oh my god, I keep doing that. Why do I keep doing that?
Is that the command? I don't remember. What was the command again? It's bad that I forget my own damn.
Oh, nah, it happens, bro. It truly does. There's Fluffy.
Oh. Fluffy must know you.
Well, Fluffy's over here too. Fluffy's multitasking. Is Fluffy in your channel too, Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, Fluffy's like, wow, like, must be like on that. Yeah. Wait, what is this? Oh, that's fast travel to Lynchwood. Wait, where do we gotta go, guys? There's Fluffy. Fluffy!
Well, let's see. We're in the dust.
I still don't know how to voice chat in game. What the heck is push to talking game? I don't even know. Just in case we gotta talk to Fluffy. It's what?
T.
T? What? Testing? E or T? T? T like E-T? T? Iced tea?
Yeah, T. Yep.
Mine's different.
I think mine is too. I don't even know if you're talking. Testing. Testing? Testing? Man, I don't know, bro. Wait, hold on. Bori, where'd you go? Oh, Bori's over here in the truck waiting for us. Wait, no, you're not. Oh, yeah, you are. Wait, can all four of us get on here?
Yep. Text chat for me is Y.
Why? Yeah, okay.
No, push to talk for me is H.
H? Testing? How do you know? How do you... Am I talking in game? Could you hear me in game? Hello?
Oh, mine's H.
Hello?
I have yours set.
Can you hear me?
Yep, yep.
Oh, you hear me now?
Oh, hello.
Hello? Hello?
It's like it kept echoing too. Like what the heck?
Wait, can you guys hear me now better?
Like I heard it like 4 times.
Here, what? This 4 times? No? How about now? Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Alright. I just wanted to make sure.
You got my
Oh,
you.
jeez, Bori. You drive like a Bori, you know that?
You reckon it?
Oh. Well, this is our destination. Let's go.
Yeah. Make sure I don't press F. Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about though, Bori, is let me think for a second. You're going 8 core, 16 thread, right?
Yeah.
Alright, do me a favor. See how much the 3700 difference will be compared to what you get. I just want to make sure you get something future-proof so you don't have to keep upgrading. Either way, they're both great. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I really want? We need processors with more core speeds. They're hard to come by. The only way you get them is if you overclock. But that comes with a lot of negative effects. Oh, I'm getting badass challenges. That's good. Ooh, iridium. Ooh. Oh my god, what's burning? Maybe it's like that.
Yellow stuff, the corrosive.
Yeah, burning. Right.
Now you said let's see how much the what is?
3700X. Or the 3700, that's the one Eridar said get. Yeah. Oh, that's the one you said you are getting. Oh, never mind. Ignore everything I just said.
I think the 3700X is by itself is...
Oh, so we got 2 healers in here.
Yeah. Honestly, bro, here's what I do. Okay, so look at benchmarks. You want to see Cinebench testing. You want to see I mean, you can see testing for games benchmarks, but sometimes they're not that accurate. You know what I'm saying? Like they can or may not be, because everybody's build is different. And
3700 is 8 core.
Yeah, 8 core is great. But you know how like nowadays, nah, 8 core, you should be fine, bro. You'd be good for the next 10 years for sure. But after about 5 to 6 years, it may start getting, because you got to think. Let's look at this for an example. How many cores does our cell phones have? About 8 cores, right? They're not doing the threads or anything. They're just 8 cores. So and even the new Xbox and PlayStation now are gonna come with I think they're coming with 6 cores, 8 cores. I don't know, or whatever with threads. I don't remember, but they're not running high speeds. I think they're only running at like 2.5. But you got to think too. So everything's starting to become multi-core.
Shoot the butt.
The butt? Where's the butt? I can't find the butt.
The little thing on his back.
Oh, I got it. Criticals. Oh yeah, criticals. Danger, danger. This thing is... I can't get the butt. He won't face his butt towards me.
Shoot it in his head. It'll make it dizzy and turn around. Ow.
Oh, you guys got the attention on that one. That's good. Oh, the butt's hurt. I see that. Oh, what the? Good job. What the hell's going on here? Oh, I forgot there's 4 of us playing. I was like, wait, what's this other person? I'm like, I thought it was like some new AI or something. I'm like, wait, what? We got a companion? Anybody need, or we all got full health?
That's what's nice. We got 2 healers now, so we can heal you guys up.
McNally took the bane. It worked like a charm against the spider ants, but the curse... If you're hearing this, fine McNally. He may have left me for dead, but he doesn't deserve what the bane will do to him. Nobody does.
Oh, what the? There you go, Jay. Get his butt in the air. Now I can shoot them cheeks.
High and dry.
I'm high and dry. Okay, okay. I don't want to waste rocket launchers. Yo, this thing is shooting webs like no tomorrow. Oh, what the? Who just shot that?
I did.
Jeez, Bori.
We gotta thank those smithereens.
Right.
That shot in its butt.
Do that though, man. It's messed up. Shoot somebody in the butt.
Critical?
As long as you shoot him in the butt and you do not lie.
I can't get over.
I love that I can see your guys' menu. Too bad I can't see like navigating through it. That'd be awesome. But the fact that just something pops up is still kind of cool.
Oh, the one thing I like about 3 compared to 2 is you can fast travel right to your vehicle.
You know, that's the thing about these new games nowadays. They're trying to, but see that, wouldn't that like lower the playtime value though?
Yeah.
You probably got so used to that. That's so like luxury. That's like Uber to your car. Oh man. Good job. Yo, I'm getting like all these badass ranks. That's good. I need more. Right in the cheeks.
Okay, where are they? There they are.
Yeah. If anything though, we'll catch up to Fluffy. You know what I'm saying? Because like Fluffy's gonna take a while to level up. We're gonna hit level. We're gonna catch up. Wait, how much money do you guys have? Bori.
How much money do I have? 140,333.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure everything's. Yeah, I got 100,000. Well, we've been selling guns and stuff.
I got 28K. What the heck?
Whoa, Jim. Oh man, bro.
I'm broke.
I'm gonna have to teach you how to be a hustler, homie.
Hey, where the hell are we at? Where
I
are we?
keep buying stuff too. That's probably why.
You know, well, you know me. I'm cheap. I don't buy nothing.
I know you don't. We got 700,000 or something, or 700,000.
Oh yeah, Jay made fun of me. Well, that's funny. Yeah, I don't spend money in that game, bro. I'm so cheap.
Might have a brand new, nice supercar.
Right.
Stop struggling.
Oh gosh, let's get him. Ooh.
I gotta get my car working first, though.
Hey, right? Yeah. Once you get that out, bro, I'm gonna show you, bro. That chip is beautiful. Oh, what am I shooting? No, that's Bori's gun sounding all beastie over there.
I'm just using a pistol.
Yo, these bugs are really bugging me.
No.
What? Yeah. I'm accepting restaurant gift cards, guys. If you guys want to donate gift cards, let me know. I accept Texas Roadhouse, McDonald's, Burger King, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and I accept Steam gift cards from you.
Yeah, see, look at that. See? Well, actually, I'm doing a Universal gift card giveaway. If you're interested. I know you've been out of town for a while. I don't know if you heard about it. But what is this? Anybody? No, this is a Pooey shield. Money. Gotta grab it, really? What are you guys doing to the poor guy? Jeez, Jay, you cheating over there, bro?
Definitely.
It's just like Jay's using his balls on the enemy. Pick up McNally's Echo. Where the heck is this at? Oh, we got big giant beacons on our map. We gotta go on top of here or something?
No, we gotta go across.
Oh my god.
Ah!
Stuck. There we go. Maybe get some ammo. I need ammo.
You can't jump on top of that. Yeah.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Let's go.
This is a good sniper.
Wait, which one?
This is a good sniper up here.
What do we got?
sniper. My sniper only does 200 damage.
And take it.
You want the sniper, Jay? Go ahead, bro. If not, sell it and get the cash if you don't want it, you know? 900 damage for that sniper is pretty good, man.
It's better than what I got right now, because mine's 200, but it has that burning element, so it's 200 plus whatever burn.
No way.
Wait. It shows the objective here. What the heck we gotta do? Oh, wait, something's spawning. The heck is that? Oh, something. What the? Something just flew over there.
Yeah.
I just saw an enemy fly in the air to Fluffy. Wait, what the?
Probably some racks.
Oh, there's nothing in this building anyway. It's empty. I'm looking right through the wall. There's nothing in there, man.
You glitch and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, I got skill points. How many? Just one? Pfft. I'm gonna save them. Uh-oh. The game just auto-saved.
Open it? What the heck?
Yo, what the? How'd you get... Oh, I went completely the wrong way.
Let's go to the mission now.
Don't yawn, boy. I know I feel you, bro. I'm a little tired too. I'm not gonna lie. But I am having fun, but I am feeling tired. But that's what traveling do to you, though. Gets you exhausted.
Yeah.
You know?
Getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, being in bed by like 10, 11 o'clock.
Yeah. True.
I couldn't do that.
And then I gotta readjust my body back to my sleeping schedule.
You will.
Yeah, but well, good thing is
Oh, we got 2 sirens. Or, not sirens. Yeah, you guys are sirens, right? Is that what you're called? Or Hellbinder? Or... No. Well, that's just your level. Yeah, you guys are... Sirens? Okay.
Yeah, I used to get up at 4 a.m. and then
Screw that.
midnight, so I didn't sleep very much. But I could, if I went into bed earlier, I would just be a zombie. So 3 hours of sleep is better than 6 hours. Can't see nothing.
Oh, who, what? Oh. I like that song. Did I just hit that jet with a barrel? What the? I can't aim down. No. Where is he? Oh, okay. Oh, that works. That works. Get him in the air. Seriously? There we go. What the? This guy's a beast. How much HP does he have?
a lot.
There we go.
Guards coming from Lynchwood to buy it.
You left the gun on the floor.
No idea
Oh boy, guys, I won't be too far away, but give me 1 second. Hold on.
about the curse. Boy, oh boy, is he in for a surprise.
Hyper.
You're fired!
Somebody got fired.
Wonder who.
Is this something different?
Seriously, I heard that. Well, what happened though? What is this?
Heard what? Sniper.
Wait, which one is?
I'll take it.
What is it? This is my shotgun, I think. Yeah. What is this? Sniper?
See, that's why I line up my stuff exactly the way I do. I got my pistol in one, auto
Yeah.
rifle two, sniper, and auto rifle.
See, usually I do the backwards way. Usually I go sniper, AR, shotgun, pistol. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, speaking of 1, 2, 3, 4, I forgot I could switch it. Wow, why am I using mouse wheel, man? Oh my gosh.
Voice changer.
Who?
All I hear is a voice changer.
Who, me?
No.
Oh, Jay.
Yeah, it's on voice meter. I'm using a voice meter.
Oh, voice meter? Yeah. Alright, where are we headed now, guys?
I think
Go into that.
it's definitely like this, bro. That's for sure.
Ow!
You know how to drive?
You letting Jay drive?
No, Fluffy. You going the wrong way, Fluffy.
Don't let me drive.
Yo,
I'll just sit here and let somebody else do all the work, and I'll take the money. Me.
oh yeah.
Make the money. I just need you.
Wow. For a second, I'm like, wait, how do I have 23,000 health? And I realize we're in the car. Well, what is that? Oh!
Mordecai plans on sucking down more ragale, huh? Did the
Weakened them a bit.
split up for
Corrosive.
Bring me the booze instead, and I'll give you my prized revolver.
Oh, okay. You hear that, Jay? Get that prize, man. We already saw your prize earlier when you run to the map.
Fuck off, bandit.
We can't take him out? Oh, what the? Man, you guys are moving like crazy. That's PC driving for you.
That ain't me, that's this guy.
Holy macro.
I'm getting dizzy here.
I know, me too. So feel bad for you guys.
Alright, y'all wanna bring it to Moxie or y'all wanna bring it to what's his name?
Is that uno mas? Uno mas! I need a. Oh, I can check my inventory while I'm in here. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
What the heck?
Sniper. AR. What the heck is my shotgun? Are we getting off? Okay. Yo, this looks pretty sweet. Oh, what the?
It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, what the? Like it was like a rainbow glitter. Why did I think rainbow glitter looks sweet? I don't know.
Jack's broadcasting a 24-hour stream of propaganda to
He's doing a 24-hour stream. Ooh, hype.
Fuck that. I
gonna
ain't.
show them what a bad idea
Well, I'm saying Jack is.
borrow Moxie's camcorder.
Yo, look at this. That looks nice.
Oh wow.
That looks good.
And then I just disappeared.
It's okay. We're all back at Century.
Yep, and I can go sell shit.
Hell yeah, me too. Or heck yeah. feel like I need to customize my character again. I'm not really digging this new. I'm gonna do this one because Jay likes when I pick this one.
I'm gonna do what the? Yeah, I unlocked some stuff. I gotta check out my outfits.
Yeah, I want to get a colorful.
Alright, do y'all want a sniper or a pistol for the booze? Depends on who y'all want to turn the booze into. Y'all choice. Sniper or pistol?
Sniper. Oh, for like the mission.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me sell these. Where's the machines at over here?
Right here.
Yeah, 2 pistols. That sucks. The pistols?
Pistols are good. Sell it. You don't want it, sell it.
I'm full.
What do you guys have?
Yoink.
Wow.
Ooh, man. Yeah, I needed to get rid of some weapons. I like that one.
Go sell. What are you waiting for?
Oh yeah, well what do we got here? We have a well you can still sell it.
Holy shit.
Ooh.
Okay, that one done. What do I sell?
But you know what though, guys? Honestly, in all honesty, I'm so like wondering what the future of gaming is going to be in general. Like I know people keep saying VR, 4D instead of 3D, and all this other shenanigans, but we got crossplay coming in now. So, you know, VR is a thing, crossplay is a thing. Cloud gaming is starting to become a thing. Consoles are now accepting mouse and keyboards is a thing. So just think like what's going to be happening here soon.
I want a full dive system. That's what I want.
You know, nah, I know what you want, boy. You want that little capsule you keep in your room, and then you just lay in it, eject some needles in you, fall into a deep sleep, and just fall into the gaming world virtually. Live that way, you know.
Yeah.
Like that's real gaming, bro. Hardcore to the max.
Yes. Like
Don't play the game, become the game.
Yep, like Sword Art Online. Or
Mhm.
Elfen Online. Or Elfen Light, I think it's called.
Yeah, like can you imagine, bro? Like think about it. People will be so, but there's a lot of scientific reasons that won't work, but at least not for now. You know, what if you gotta use the bathroom? You're gonna be pooping yourself, you're gonna be peeing yourself. What if you don't eat and you forget? You're gonna have kidney failure problems. How are you gonna hydrate yourself? Because you're technically like in a
IV drain.
oh my god, I can see it now. Going to GameStop, not GameStop because we know it's closing, but a store like GameStop, like, yo, get your gamer pouches now. Stay hydrated and while gaming.
We'll send a nurse to your house and put an
Yep.
IV in.
Yep. Can you imagine a nurse comes through and it won't be for the like older people or elderly. It'll be for gamers, bro. Come and change your diaper while you're gaming. Like what?
Here's a crossbow for you. Berserker.
We're gonna have to buy gamer pads.
Please.
Like, get the die-hard, real hardcore gaming diapers now. Ain't got time to use it? Well, don't worry. You can just use it as you play. Every second counts as a gamer.
Here we go.
Got some class mods here.
What is this? What do you guys have here?
I like you a whole lot.
Berserkers for you.
Oh, what is that? That's
Robot.
Bori.
this one.
Diamond
Health regen.
or a flower
Okay.
surrounded by shrapnel-ass stuff.
Yeah, that
I
one's
will
for
hang
Bori, Mr.
myself
Assassin.
from my own tombstone
I'm coming.
Yeah, check this out, Bori. See if you want it.
If not, it's worth 1,900 bucks. I still got 45 keys to go through.
I mean, these guns are cool, but
Sell it. I like mine better.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're not really getting like top of the line weapons or
I
anything.
have health regen and health.
Ooh, wait, class mod.
Ooh, that's nice. If you
Grand Titan? Wait, who's a Grand Titan?
Just for anybody.
Oh, Gunzerker. None of us is Gunzerker. Alright, I'll get rid of it.
second
There.
wind health, that's a good one.
The who what?
The second wind health, if you get knocked down, it improves your health by 103%.
Oh wow, that's pretty good amount of health pull right back.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. So if Fluffy does it, doesn't he get better weapons since he's higher level?
Yeah, he gets level 30.
Ooh. That's
Wow, what is this?
a good shield.
Which one you want, Jay? I'll let you choose first.
Consolidated amplify is better than what I got.
When full charge, next weapon shot deals bonus amp damage. This one does electrocute. I think I'll do this one. I'll let you get the other one because the other one has a pretty good bonus. Plus, you get the extra amp shot thingy. This one's just standard, but this one will kind of go with my special ability.
Yeah, you're electrocuting.
Yeah. Oh wait, mission complete. They're both kind of.
That is
Like I said, that's if he opens it, it's all level 30s.
Yeah, but we probably can't even use it though. Mm.
They ain't even good. Those guns are
Oh, they're
bad.
good. No, they're good. They're better than our shit.
Well, they only did 300 and some damage, and
Yeah, but for an auto rifle, that's good damage. Because the one I got is 100 something.
bottle red.
Like the sniper right now. 2,000 fucking damage for the sniper rifle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, reload speed. Leveled up. Sweet.
Yeah. Oh, level 30s, but look, these are worth money though.
Mm-hmm.
So what are these? Speedy Punch class mod?
The Necromancer, that's for your character.
They both are, yeah.
Dang, lucky.
You can borrow it on one.
Well, let me see which one look good. I'll keep it for the future, I guess.
Take that camera to opportunity. And make sure you don't look at Moxie's footage.
Moxie's footage? Jay wants to look at it.
Oh, I think you do.
What? Yo, what's up, Crazy Something? How are you?
1, 2.
Nah, I didn't have to see the footage. Jay already showed me the footage. Ooh, what's going on out here? Who's dropping all these out here? Are you guys?
Taking handouts if it's from Fluffy.
Yeah, are you guys doing anything here? There's like guns on the floor.
We're not allowed to take handouts, so step away, Trixie.
That is beautiful.
Before you start picking up shit.
Well, no, I'm not picking up anything. I'm just looking at it. Like I didn't know if you guys were doing. Wait, what the? Wait, what is Fluffy?
That's all Fluffy. No, don't touch nothing. Get away.
Just looking at him.
Well, we can't even use these anyway because we don't meet the level.
Even though it's tempting to take them.
Well, here's a level 20.
And that we can take.
We could sell these for cash. Oh, I just walked on this guy's. I didn't know we could walk on their heads.
Did he fall off?
Yeah. I thought I could jump right away.
Dumping all this shit over here. Go sell it.
I think.
Torturing us. Like, look what you could have.
He's like, you could have this, but you can't have this. No, not here and not now.
Dang, 5,000 shield. Wow.
Like this sniper right here, I would love to take.
Which one? Oh, the. Ow.
This one.
Jello! It's falling off the roof.
1,500.
Oh, I think he's gonna go sell it now. Oh, speaking of that, Bori, have you ever played Dead? What is it called? Dead Island?
Yes, for PS3.
Have you beat them all?
Nope.
I think there's a one. And
One, Riptide, and 2's coming out.
okay, which one was it that we were gonna play? I don't remember.
Hear this. When you're saying
It was something definitive.
to sanction,
Yeah, definitive edition.
I don't care what Jack is
So what is it? Is that just a regular one?
you think
Yep,
you are.
it's just a regular
The
one.
Hyperion army is coming to wipe
Yeah, we had a
out. If you want to
set
survive,
up with somebody, but what happened to him?
come to Sanctuary.
Ah, forget it. Yeah,
Crimson Raiders.
that's why I didn't start on it, because I figured before we start, we can get like a reliable squad. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get through and then, you know, like, wait, who's what is this lady singing?
Oh, where do you go? Where is it at? Oh, there, I see it.
Jeez. You know what? I'm gonna try opening a crate. Let me see if I get anything good.
I've played it before, not all the way. You got crap.
Wow. I'll just grab one and sell one. You guys grab the other one.
Sell both of them. They're
That's-
both crap.
They're pooey, man.
Lock and load.
I'm taking that one.
Your phone died. That's not good. Ice Dragon, thank you.
I would, if I was
Ooh, that's actually kind of cool. It's like a warp grenade or something.
Right there.
Which one? Where is it?
No,
I was
not
not
yours.
gonna take that one, but yeah. For some reason, I'm full again. I don't know why.
You're full on what? Inventory?
I'm gonna give it to you back. Just go sell.
Why am I full? I just sold everything.
No, you didn't.
I sold like 10 things.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. It's all Bori's fault.
So, did you... What, y'all got Dead Island already?
Well, I believe it's on Windows 10. So
It's on Steam.
it's on Steam too. Okay. Well, originally I was gonna do the one because of the Game Pass.
Oh, I could do that one. I have the Game Pass.
Yeah, if you got that way, it'd be free for all of us. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to come out of pocket. I really didn't want to come out of pocket for that game. Yo, that's cool. That grenade sucks up the blood.
Like
Yo.
Dead Island. Have y'all played Dying Light?
I played pieces of it.
That one's another good one. I love that.
Yeah, I played
That's another good one we could play co-op.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not fun by
I actually liked that game, but never could have a team. Like, everyone I played went ahead of me, bro. That's another game that kind of ticked me off. Like, I was enjoying it,
I only have one
and everybody went on ahead against me, and I'm like, yeah. Well, that's why I don't like co-op with these guys no more, because they be something else.
Sanctuary.
Yeah, look at it. Look at this, Jay. Look what Fluffy was doing.
I know how Jack's army has swept across this planet like a sandstorm, ripping apart everything in its way. When I joined the Crimson Lance years ago, they told me I'd be fighting to protect those who couldn't protect
The who, he, how, what?
But you all know as well as I do, that was a lie.
Sell it.
But this fight against Iberian, it isn't.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
If we can't protect this,
Look at Roland speaking for the people.
That is
I
crazy.
am Roland.
They took out trio gunfights in Modern Warfare. Why would they do that? Why did they take out 3v3?
Yeah, I also got rid of Shoot House 24/7 and
I mean, Shieldhouse was alright, but it was just a new map and a game mode just for the new map. I didn't mind the mode, but I didn't really care for it too much. But 3v3, it was kind of cool.
and then they got rid of the
Probably because the maps weren't really 3v3 based. They were more for 2v2, so people were probably complaining. They'll have to make 3v3 maps.
the 24/7 is still available, but it's for that shipment that you know, that real small map, that annoying map where people spawn right next.
Oh, don't tell me the ship from Modern Warfare. Oh, them is it the original Modern Warfare ship?
The shipment one where they have all the crates and stuff.
Yep, that's from Modern Warfare, the original. Oh my god, that is a small map.
It's like you spawn and then you got enemies right there next to you. Like, oh, okay, why did I spawn in enemy territory and I'm getting shot at before?
Yeah, but you know what though? Call of Duty's always had that problem because the maps are. But see that you only get that problem in maps like Team Deathmatch, Domination. That's when spawns come into problems.
Yep.
They added gunfight so you can use all your custom classes. Yeah, I heard they added the classes. I'm excited about that. That means I got some editing classes to do because I hate having 5 classes, bro. Like, you know, like for example, if I play Team Deathmatch on core and then I got buddies who come on and they all play hardcore, now I gotta like switch my guns because, you know, a whole different game mode.
Yeah, but the update's kind of screwed up though, because it makes your game really laggy. At least my game, I was lagging so hardcore that I couldn't even.
Oh.
I'd be running and all of a sudden it just like stop. And every time I would get lag, I'd be right out in the open, so I'm getting shot at and getting killed because.
So, what do I want to
Yeah, duos are fun. Oh, why am I yawning? Yeah, duos are fun. Yeah, we should. I got Thomas over here, but Thomas never adds me. He's always like, I don't know what he's doing. He's saying he's gonna add us.
You go ahead in the bed.
Let's do it. I never know what to upgrade.
Up to you.
Kill skill. Killing an enemy increases the damage that your burn, electrocute, corrode status effect deal. Oh, that explains why I'm doing so good with that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then in that case, I better keep leveling that up. Cause I don't really care about. I mean, the death trap is cool, but I want to focus on building my character statistics rather than my passive ability.
See if this guy has anything good. Bunch of garbage. Yeah, bunch of garbage.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We get our little squad going. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's over here glitching and shit.
I am a little tired though. All right, how we looking? Get my character upgrader. Let's go. You don't play Star Citizen no more, Bori?
Every once in a while.
Once in a while.
You don't even play CFTs anymore. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Bori, what happened, bro? I see you on Ark a lot. What's going on with Ark? Anything good? I know you sound like me, bro. Honestly, bro, I don't even know what to play no more, man. Sometimes I don't.
Yeah, no, I think it's
Like, I don't mind Sea of Thieves. I just never have the time. Like, it just takes a long time. You know, you got to get on the ship, cruise, get there, try to keep everything on your ship. You can't walk away because somebody comes and rob you. You're screwed.
I actually had a pretty good day the other did my mission completely. I never had nobody bothered me, and I saw a
Yeah.
blue ship, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna mess with this ship.
Yeah, no, it's fun when you solo slooper. I do it all the time. Like honestly, I just like cannon myself to a ship and like just to be a butt.
To me, and I was going towards the ship, and he's just looking at me like, what are you doing? Why are you attacking me? Where he had that little sad look on his face. I just crashed into the ship and sunk the ship. I think he was so mad though.
I don't
Because he
see
tried to
Dead
jump
Island.
on my ship. It was
Yeah,
funny.
I don't see Dead Island at all.
No? Is it not a Windows 10 game? I think it's either Windows 10 or maybe like you said, maybe Steam. I think it is on Windows 10 though. Let me check. I'm gonna check the App Store now. Dead. No, maybe it's not. Never mind. Scratch that.
Xbox.
Yep.
Wow.
And it's on Steam, I think, too, though.
Right, unless Steam has like a 4-pack deal. Maybe we'll all pitch in or something, get like a bundle deal. Oh, the heck did Fluffy get back there?
Could look at.
Jay, you went under Maxie's skirt. How did Fluffy get behind the counter?
I have no clue.
Eating.
Blues Clues.
Gotta be the way.
Well, it's gotta be a barrier glitch, because it seems like...
Your gun was just sticking to the wall here. What the heck?
Huh?
Your gun is just sticking to that wall back there.
Why you like that?
Come on. Through there.
What is my character doing?
Teleport? Ah. What? Oh wow.
Dead Island.
Over here.
Yeah, Dead Island's so known for like... I said Dead Island.
What the? Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, I see it. Oh.
The map.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you gotta jump up there. Yep. Like this, Jay. Yeah, we're out of the map. I mean, some games let you back in, some games don't, so be careful. Look at these low poly textures out here. So, where do I go for these? Oh, okay. Whee! Oh, that's scary.
Oh no, I missed.
Oh,
What the heck?
okay. Oh, I just went out the map. No! That just happened.
Whoa, that
I'm scared to even ask how much that's gonna charge me.
cost me $2,300.
8,925. What the? Now I gotta sell more guns to get my money back.
Here's your grenade.
Who? What?
And they still got Dying Light for $40, and this came out like 5 years ago. What the hell?
$40.
Yeah, and it came out like 5 years ago.
Ooh.
But it is a good game.
It is good.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times zombie games aren't good because that one isn't that one like kind of like Dying Light. It's like you can level up.
Dying Light, kind of like Dying Light. Dying Light, kind of like Dying Light.
Okay, yeah, that's how you know I'm tired. Oh my gosh.
Yes, there's level ups. Yeah, like I said, you could get co-op.
Yeah.
You can understand you want to talk.
I played it for PS3, beat it a couple times. If you're looking for a co-op game to play, if you get that game, I will get it as well.
Okay. Yeah, but $40 though. Ugh. Come on. Well, we'll find out. Let's look around, guys. Come on. We're PC gamers. There's got to be a digital market where it's so much cheaper. There's no way. $40. We could check on there, but sometimes even they're a little pricey.
Yeah, sometimes they are, yeah.
Or I can always, oh, try to Steam share it or something. $11? It's much better.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot better.
Hell yeah, not no $40. $40, bro. I could have went out to eat, got some steak, T-bone, mashed potatoes or fries, extra whatever, and tipped the waitress like $20 and still call it the day. What are you gambling over here, JC? Ooh, that's a good gamble. Thank you.
That was, yeah. 10 iridium, wow, that was nice.
Ooh, Jay, almost again. You get better luck on slots in here than Trick Spot. You're doing a good job, bro.
I know.
Right now, Trick Spot is broken, man. I gotta fix it, man. Slots was working just fine until I added the cooldown. I think it's the cooldown that, you know how I made you guys have your own cooldown?
I'm telling you what it is. This fucking slots is bugged. Every time somebody's gonna win it, it doesn't put it out.
Yeah, but the thing is, it did it before, and people still won. I'm trying to think. I might have to remove. No, I don't want to do that because everybody would have to wait.
Anybody need a skin? Here. Siren skin.
Wait, what is it?
The siren skin. I already got it.
Just-
unlocked.
Oh, does Fluffy need it? Or do you need it? If you already have it.
It's already unlocked for me, so I can't. I can set.
Yo, Fluffy's character look crazy. What the?
Okay, I'll take it.
Yes, yeah. Just sell it.
This is why
Yeah.
I go broke, so I keep playing this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Jay, it's costing quite a bit of money per run. I'll do one time. Oh no!
You got dropped in the corner. I'm stuck.
Oh, money. Okay, I got half my money back. Wow, look at Fluffy's. Wow, look at Fluffy's face. It's like Ghost Rider. Oh man. I feel bad for Bori though, guys. Bori's got to get up early in the morning.
I don't. I'm off.
Oh, you are? Well, then I don't feel bad.
Tuesday.
Oh, lucky you. Wait, where's this guy jogging to the end of the map? Or no, he's looking for something. Jay falls off. I saw that, Jay. You literally just like ran to your death.
I thought they didn't get out of the map. I did get out of the map.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get we're gonna have to go ahead and try to get I don't even know.
$2,000. Wow. Die in this game, man. It killed you.
Yeah, it's expensive when you die. Ooh, what's going on here? Oh, Fluffy's throwing guns again. Oh, what's over here?
You ready for the next mission?
Let's go. Reach opportunity. Oh, commencing. Even better.
Oh, midair. I disappeared in midair.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yep, Jay has a gambling problem.
Just realized that.
You know what? I gotta. Wow.
You might as well add like make it 1,000,000. This is unattainable.
Yeah, I'm not liking that, man.
Yeah, just make it 1,000,000.
Whoops, what? Whoops.
Chris? I don't know.
No, not really. Hold on, let me see something here.
Ah, what the?
Oh, don't forget, there's always. You remember, there's the lottery too.
Chris?
Yeah, I got a lottery.
What did you do? Drive off the...
I forgot how I did it. I think you can choose. I don't know if I did 3 or 5 numbers. It's kind of like buying a lottery ticket.
I think it's just one number.
Oh yeah, so yeah, Trick Spot tells you. Okay, yeah. Oh, it's just one number. Never mind. Has been entered into the lottery. Your number is, if your number matches one of the following: 5, 6, 12, 22, 26. You get 500.
Yay! Wait, what?
Boo.
Yeah, it says then you have won 500 retro coins if your numbers match. Please note that if you have selected the bonus ball, then you will receive double retro coins. You didn't.
Match one of them. 5. 5's right there. That's a cheat.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Mine's a 5. I should have 500 more. Your system's whack.
That lottery sucks.
Okay, well,
500. I should be.
I'm gonna have to sit here with my bot and I'm gonna have to like spam the command just to see if it actually works. Yeah, I love that skin. Look at this. This is like in the future.
So, are you gonna give me 500 more since I got one of the numbers of the match?
All right, give me a second. I'm actually gonna check the
Welcome to Overlook. We're so pleased to see you.
That's not the one we wanted. Which one are we doing?
An arm. Oh, arm's getting. Okay,
That
what's
arm's
this?
looking good. He
I
must
found
have
an
worked
arm.
out.
Anybody remember which one we was doing?
No. I found an arm though, so I don't know what that's for, but we're moving an arm. Oh, cool. Sparkly cars.
You picked up an arm, delivered it.
Deliver it to out.
Attention, Overlook residents. You're welcome.
So is it? Somebody left somebody's arm in the mailbox.
Yeah, boy, I'm gonna give you the 500. I gotta look into it, see what happened there, because that don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Maybe TrickSpot is doing too much. Maybe it's time for TrickSpot to retire and stick to Streamlabs. Maybe it's time for a bot where I don't have to do anything. Just let the freaking company take care of it. Does Streamlabs have lottery?
I don't think so.
All right, we got this mission here. What? Oh my god, I'm getting stuck between some invisible something.
The Holy Spirit.
How's that Camelot game? I've been seeing Dorellis play it a lot.
Goods have spoiled by now. It's really just an RP server.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Well, you don't play RP, right?
Yeah, I played a little bit here. There's heist, duel, free for all, boss battle. Nothing.
Yeah, I think RP. I used to do a little bit of Armor 3, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. What was the other one? There was another game. I didn't really do Gary's mod, really. I'm not even gonna count it because I didn't really do it that much. But I would say GTA San Andreas, I did the most RP, and GTA 5, I sometimes do it. It just depends. But RP is just, it kind of changed over the years. Like, people just don't really take RP seriously anymore as much.
Yeah.
You know. But I remember back in like 2009, bro, RP was like fun. Like, people got into GTA 5 because streamers were doing it. But other than that, to really get into RP, it's a lot of work. People think it's easy. It's not. Like, you really got to invest a lot of time into it.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know.
And time I don't have.
But honestly, it beats GTA Online any day. Yo, look over there. That's actually or no, never mind. I was about to say, isn't that where we spawn?
Yeah, GTA Online is just nothing but.
I hate it, bro. It's hackers and RPGs and getting blown up, and it's like I don't see the enjoyment in it, bro, at all.
I did it one time and I got sniped from clear across the map. Like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. Well, I just don't like the spam. Rockstar blowing up your phone in game saying buy this, buy that, and subscribe to this, and
That's annoying too.
I'm like, dude, oh, what's this?
They do
We're doing a competition?
Opportunity.
Final door to my chambers, you'll need to be Jack.
They do have like
That
a
means
decent
passing a bioscan
game mode
and
in there,
speaking
but
a password in his voice.
with all the hacking and stuff that's involved in there, it's just.
So long as Jack
Yeah.
fantastic statues of himself around opportunity, we can't truly win this war.
Oh, we got this though.
Blast those statues to bits.
Always happy to do business with a vault hunter.
Scared him.
A mode on there.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's kind of cool, but you'd have to have like a little crew that you actually play with all the time.
Right. I think your best bet, bro. Have you ever done like paramedic on GTA?
You can use it to cut through the statues
no.
for you.
No. Wow. And the only reason why I'm asking because I know like the paramedic, you know, because I know it gets you something to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If not, I don't know if you can get a PD now. I think they closed it. It'd be nice to get you on there, bro. Me and you together, PD ended up.
Yeah, only problem with that though is I usually do all the daily stuff. So
Yeah, well, make another character. You make two of them. You can have what they call a cousin, where one character's a criminal, one's a good guy. That's what you always want to do. Huh?
I don't know how to do the different. I tried finding the place to go. I can't find it.
Jeez. Yeah, that's what I would do. Like your criminal, probably be the one you want to make the most money on, and then your cop, you can just because some people do that now. Like some people are doing like paramedic, and then some will do like police on the other one. Cause bro, the paramedics, man, they need to be on there, man. Like honestly, I know they're hiring for sure.
Yeah, I know that one time we were on there was none.
Yeah, it's annoying. Like they need to get on there. Oh.
Ow, that thing hurt.
Yeah, I know you applied for the PD, but I think you didn't get the interview, did you? You missed it.
I started applying for it, but I never did anything.
Oh, application's easy, bro. Honestly, it's probably the easiest I've ever seen on a server. But some servers, you know how they'd be like, "Yo, write 500 words and a biography and all this other shenanigans." Yeah, it's like it's a process. Oh, look at this guy with the shield. Okay. Oh, that corrosive. Oh, he's shooting down bad guys. You guys okay?
Yeah. A lot of freaking enemies here.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's how you do it. Good job.
This gun is OP. I like this gun.
Which one are you on? Which one are you using? That's one of Jack's bodies. Take it out. Oh, yeah. No. I need to get shield recharge here.
Oh, we're going the wrong way, by the way.
I know. I see Jack over here. I'm trying to get him. Did we get him?
Oh, Jack's body double?
Yeah. Oh, he's down.
It echoes his biosignature to every machine, and that pocket watch also records audio. Jack loved to listen to the praise of his underlings. We need to create a voice modulator so you can speak.
Yeah, this game has a weird story to it. So we got a guy named Jack in the sky or whatever, and he's got this like futuristic army, all this like land and territorial things he claims.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I gotta stretch. Oh gosh.
Did you know that some people on this planet still believe in silly superstitions like angels, demons, and ancient alien warriors? We like to call them bandits.
Yes, this is going to work. If I get a few more samples of Jack's voice, I can make a voice modulator. You need to get more voice samples from the other input kiosks.
Start the anarchy.
Yikes.
Have some
job, Jay. Jeez, what is that?
Accuracy's overrated anyway.
Wow. Okay, okay. Ooh. Yeah, no problem, theme scene. That sounds good. All right. Health? No, I'm full. Okay.
Hey, kids, did you know you're
Yo, I'm just excited that Silent Hill is making more games.
upon leaving opportunity? It's a science.
I just hope it's like a real Silent Hill though.
A few more kiosks.
Because I remember, what was it, Team Silent, right? I think Silent Hill, when they first started making the games, their competitor was Capcom with their Resident Evil series. Bro, we need a Resident Evil Outbreak remake. That's what we need. But I think at the same time, though, it's almost like, what was that game that was in beta? Project Resistance? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
That one was kind of like Outbreak, kind of, not really, but kind of. Like it was multiplayer and it did have like Resident Evil elements to it.
Yeah, it looks fun. I wonder what happened to that game.
Did you like Silent Hill, the mix scene? Yeah. Very true. Luffy's looking at the sky. Where'd you go, Bori? We gotta search for the drop zone.
Yep.
Okay. This looks like a shopping mall center thingy. Oh, what the heck? Yo, this reflection is all off. That's not what's behind here. What the heck? What is this reflection of? Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry guys, I don't mean to yawn like that.
Barrel.
Silent Hill was an awesome game. I played 1, I played 2, did I beat 3? Guys, I don't remember. Did I beat 3? I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. I still gotta play Silent Hill for the room. I think Origins. Don't remember if we did. Oh, and we did Downpour. I think we're missing Origins. I don't know, remember if we did Homecoming or not.
Just boot him back up and he ought to treat you as
Wait, who? What? Where?
you'll be like his mommy. His gun-toting, profanity-spewing
You're gone
mommy.
again. We lost you.
Oh no, I was just listening to the clap chat. Ooh, good job on that. Hack Overseer. Where's he at?
He's waking up.
Oh, he's waking up.
Trust
Oh.
the Vault Hunter robot. All right. The constructor's working again. Make sure to protect it while it's wrecking the statues.
Very true. That is very true. Resident Evil was great, so I kind of get why they're doing these remixes. After like 4 was good, but I think after,
Dang bot. What y'all follow me for?
well, I don't know. We are trying to destroy the statues. Where are they?
Follow the bot on the screen.
Bunch of dudes. We a bunch of dudes. That's why.
Oh gosh.
I know where I'm going. I'm just...
Oh, this is bad news. Let me get critical hits real quick. Hold on, we got this, guys.
What are you doing now, Zool? Heavy vandalism? Are you serious? That's how far you...
Come on, get him, get him, get him, get him.
Alright, you made your point. You don't like the statue, I get it. I look a little too badass with my foot in Batman's face, right? Jealous, I get it.
Yeah, check down the robot. Whoa, look at the missiles. Good job, Jay. Ouch.
Does that feel good? You got it out of your system? Great. Now go home and stop screwing with my stuff, or we're gonna have a freaking problem.
So the whole time we're fighting these jacks, these are like clones?
Right at the moment.
Oh man, where's Jack? Ooh, look at the water. The water looks nice.
Alright, let's go.
Alright, so keep Overseer 50% above 50% health? Why?
101 ways to forcibly make vandals eat their own entrails. I'll let you borrow it sometime.
What the heck is that? What the heck? No, go away. Holy cow, what the heck is that? On fire.
Protect the butt,
It burns, it burns.
Okay.
Protect the bot.
I just realized there's a ramp right here. Well, big giant robots gotta go down.
Ow!
Oh. Where the heck Overseer go? Oh, here he goes. He's going this way.
A reminder, workers. You can tell a R-42 hidden assault turret from a P-34 hidden security camera by the small orange stripe related to the mountain. One of the
Oh, he destroys the statues. Okay.
Gotta protect it.
Ugh.
It's all right. Those little soft pink things your kind eats after you're done rolling around in your own feces. Ring a bell?
Did he just say ring a bell? Yo quiero Taco Bell? There we go. There we go.
Oh, for the love of... All right, great, success. You're pissing me off. Good for you. Here's your prize.
Oh, good. We got a prize. What's he giving us?
That big ass right there.
Oh. Come on.
I want to sleep and try it. Hey, can you give me some of those bullets back?
There we go.
Oh, another one.
Another one. Well, we're gonna take this one down quick then. Goodbye. No! My guy, what the heck is he doing?
Overseer's on the move. Overseer's on the move.
We gotta protect it.
Hunters infiltrating the city. Don't be afraid to run.
What
We're not
is
getting
this
paid enough.
even accomplishing? Are you trying to piss me off? Was that your goal? Well, mission accomplished, Jackoff. You know when I'm curb stomping your dumb little ass to death? Take solace in the fact that one time, for like 8 seconds, you got mildly irritated. Good for you. Your parents must be so proud.
These enemies gotta go bye-bye. He's almost got the last leg. 3, 2, 1.
Protect the bot, minion!
All right, Mr. Hacked Overseer, come on. This the last statue? Look at Jay's like,
There it goes.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Knock that last one down. I've already got a great idea for a new statue. It's just gonna be me kicking you in the junk. I'm gonna commission like 15 of those sumbitches. Just put them everywhere.
Now that you're done with that bot, it's time for some fun. You ever seen a constructor bot dance, minion? Because you're about to. Hit that
what?
and activate his dancing subroutines.
Why would we want to do that?
Fuck it.
3,
Dance.
2, 1, dance time!
Flashing dance protocols. Error.
Oh, he, just exploded, didn't he? I guess that's kinda like dancing.
Wow.
Are such a
That was an
jackass.
explosive dance right there.
Success! Opportunity will be temporarily free of jack statues forever!
Turn that in later.
We gotta kill the poor man. This is a pretty big map. Didn't we teleport here?
Maybe?
Now a moment of silence for the workers lost.
Oh boy.
Alright, that was it. Back to work.
Deactivate it.
Oh, poor Fluffy. Shh, Jay, the enemy's right there. Oh, Jay, what did you do?
What the heck? I went to lift it up and it just died. Like, okay.
Let me do my job, you jack.
Not a bad start.
Come on.
Uh-oh.
What you do now?
He's throwing grenades at us.
It's true. Good job.
Every key fits in a lock, sugar. Check the containers. See if that key opens one of them.
Now for the Ow.
Right?
Just build you an extra arm just for high fives.
Hold on, guys.
Gotcha.
Ow, what the? Ow.
Maybe I'll use you to blow a midget's head off.
What are you doing?
I got hit by something. I don't know what I got hit by. That hurt though. Ow. How about fire?
Hmm.
Bullying me.
Well, we can't let that happen now, can we? Let's take this enemy out. There we go. Good job.
Hey, take out the yeah, that's the repair surveyor.
I was about to shoot the crane. What the heck?
There's something here for shield capacity for a siren.
Oh no! Wow.
Loot midget.
Dragon by witness, you'll die!
Got him. Watch out behind you, Bori.
You are a mean machine.
What the?
Shut up.
Sounds like that key was just the right size. See if there's
Ooh.
I know my explosives, and I'd like to think I do. You could use those charges to flood the construction site. If you'd blow up the nearby retaining wall and flood those pits, I'd be awful grateful.
Old balloon dicks is still holding a grudge against me, huh? I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it. Once you've eaten frying for free, it's hard to go back to sucking down hamburgers and ass. If you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about?
Ooh, that hurted.
What the hell are y'all doing?
All I hear is explosions. Jay, get the last hit. Go ahead. Did you get it?
I guess not.
You getting revived?
Oh, okay.
Nothing hurt.
There you are.
Oh, yeah. Are you moving the king? You got it, Thomas. You got it, bro. You already know, man.
There's a sniper here for somebody and a rocket launcher.
Ooh. What's the damage on a sniper?
Or so you go on.
Don't yop. Nah, I feel you, bro. I think maybe after this mission, we probably should get some rest before we overdo it. We did make some progress, though. We got some upgrades. We did some leveling up and stuff. Oh, we do gotta go down. Okay, I was wondering. I was like, wait, what? Where's it at?
5,000 damage.
Holy macaroni!
Oh, we got one.
I have no idea.
Come this way.
There's a rocket launcher here too.
Get away from the explosive, sugar. They're gonna make a big boom.
Jim, come on. Where are you going?
My construction site! Oh, for you bitch!
Haven't heard Jack that angry since I kicked his plastic surgery ass to the curb. Come on back, sugar.
Fine. Pushing E like crazy and it's not doing anything. I keep sliding away from it. Wow. Bori just pushed me off of that. That was rude.
Did it hurt?
And do nothing.
It did. Edie, you pushed me.
Push yourself.
Wow. No! Bro, that's contagious, dude.
Can't help it. Tired.
I was nearly done with my shift, you jackass!
Wow.
Wow, I got spawned way back to the beginning, I think.
You jump in the water.
Yeah, I fell. Or I didn't fall really all the way. I think I got stuck in a wall.
You jumped in the water.
Wait, did we find a bird?
Nope.
Why is there a dead bird here?
Dead?
Yeah, like a big giant bird. Oh, you guys are at me now. Oh!
When Jack came to Pandora, he found a world that defied Jack armed himself even using quality art of the Hyperion.
Holy cow.
Many horrors to reach hideous and
Get a clear understanding.
Jack learned the legendary wolf had housed a terrible and created many horrors to reach the wolf. When Jack is to Pandora, he found a
Just keep skipping this sheet. There's a skip button.
Just a few critiques from Handsome Jack. Firstly, he says we didn't quite nail his jawline in the statues, and oh yeah, he's ordered
Oh, that's
deaths
fucked
for
up.
every worker who's taken off more than 15 minutes in the past 3 weeks. We'll be coming around with chisels and firing squads shortly.
All right, here we go. Get a clear understanding. We're still. The heck? Which one have we not finished?
monsters and vicious that alien element flourished across Pandora, and Jack became an overnight trillionaire. Today, Jack, now the owner of the Hyperion Corporation, has dedicated his life to bringing bandit scum to justice.
This is the last one now.
One word to describe what Jack has become to Pandora. Today, Jack, now the owner of the Hyperion Corporation, has dedicated
Finally!
Visiting the Hall of History. Take this tax refund as a reward.
Tax refund?
Loyalty.
$972.
That's it? It costs way less than my respawn. Jeez, 8,000.
And these respawns are getting expensive. Costs more than what you actually make. Did you turn it around?
Huh?
Got you to the turnaround.
Shit, right.
Try out this other grenade. I want to see what this one does.
Well, here goes the bad guys. Ow.
Jim. What are you doing over there?
Iberian Command has made a few requests for the construction team. One, start dying list. Right? Actually, it looks like that was the only thing on the list. Still, sound advice.
All right, let's try to hold it down here, guys. Let's see what else we have. Enemies down. We got to place an orbital beacon. Pick up survey. Oh gosh, I think my game might have froze. Are you guys still there?
Yeah.
No.
Oh no, you broke. You froze.
What is my character doing?
You were just running in position. And now
Yep,
it says you
and
froze.
you got booted.
No.
Alright, well, we might as well sit here and wait.
This game is DX9? Oh yeah, it was 2012.
Get back up there. Look down here.
Nvidia. I'm rejoining now.
Alright.
Remember, workers, there's no help me, I'm bleeding internally and need to see a doctor in team.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what happened? Why am I in the... I'm in the air. I see the disconnect icon. What's going on here?
Now I'm frozen.
No! Maybe it's the servers? Or it shouldn't really be servers, really, right? This is more like a peer-to-peer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Well, that just happened.
Yeah.
You're fired!
Much.
Why'd you go break the game before?
I ain't break shit.
Sure. You made us all crash.
Oh, man. Well, on that note, I think let's get some shut-eye, guys.
think the game was telling us, yeah, it's time for you to go to bed.
I think it's time for bed. Oh yeah. No, seriously though, Boris yawns made me tired. I was like, wait, yawning too myself. I ain't gonna lie. I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
Yep.
Yeah. Time for Bori to go to bed.
Ah.
Yeah, no, I'm tired.
Oh yeah. No, tell Fluffy thank you. And then like I'm gonna get some shut eye, guys. I appreciate you guys getting on some Borderlands though. We'll try to finish this up though if we can, just so I can get some extra space.
Yeah, plenty of extra space if you freaking, you know.
Yeah. Well, I cleared up a few things. It's a little better. Let me see. My OneDrive now, it's a lot better. I got almost 200 gigs back. I had to get rid of Atlas.
delete COD. That'll give you a lot of space.
Atlas took up way too much space, bro. It's 100 gigabytes.
Delete COD. That'll get you 140.
Yeah, I can't believe that game's 140 gigs, man. That's crazy. Thank you, Fluffy. Yeah, we all got disconnected. I don't know what happened.
You have to have a hard drive just for that game.
Right. Yeah, I know, Thomas. I'm so tired.
I am heading
All
to
right.
bed.
Good night, Bari. Get some rest, guys. Get some rest.
Good night, y'all. Good night, chat. And I'm out of here.
All right, guys. I'm going to get some shut eye as well because I am very tired. Thank you so much for everything, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next podcast. And you guys, and don't forget, giveaway very soon, guys. Let me type that in chat so everybody knows. Don't miss out on it. And my chat's not loading. What the heck is going on here?
Very soon, like tomorrow. Today.
I want to really try to do it today. Today's the 31st, right?
Yep.
It'll be today or tomorrow, either one. I just got to figure out when I want to have TrickSpot open up the raffle to get the tickets in. I just don't want to leave TrickSpot running too long with people's tickets in, because if it crashes, you know, or anything, I don't want conflict or like people losing their points. And of course, giveaway doesn't want to work.
Wow. What the heck?
We'll just do it this way. Much easier.
Now it works.
Yeah, I have to force it. What the heck? All right, guys. I'm going to get some rest. Thank you so much for everything. I'll catch you guys in the next broadcast. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.